I don't know how we start this podcast. It's been a long day. Been looking at ice skater boys all day.
Oh, yeah?
Uh-huh.
Which one's your favourite?
Yuri, definitely. Like, that's without question.
Is Yuri from Yuri on Ice anybody's favourite?
He's a self-insert. He's just, like, you're meant to think, oh, I'm this little Japanese ice skater boy.
I don't think so. He's very much his own character.
But
when you look at his place in the story, it's like, he's the centre of it.
I don't see anybody rushing to cosplay him.
That's kind of what I mean.
Like, people want to be Victor or Yurio more than they want to be Yuri.
It's because he just has black hair and no one wants to wear just a black hair wig.
Do you want to cosplay Yuri?
No.
And your girlfriend could be Victor?
She's been tossing this idea around.
I think you'd make a good, blank canvas for everyone to...
Yeah, I think, like, I'd say a lot of negative things about Niamh, but she is just kind of this, like, just sort of empty person that I feel like any personality couldn't have it. You know, that kind of way?
The main character, mostly.
No, absolutely not. Like,
You're like a background Chan.
Yeah.
I wanted to be Odebek, who is a background Chan.
Who's Odebek?
Exactly. He becomes Yorio's friend.
Oh, the guy from Ukraine.
He has a bike and a leather jacket.
Yeah, all those skaters, except the Sleeping Beauty guy and Kris.
Christoph.
Christoph. They all just like blended into one for me.
For me, Christoph's the main character. Absolutely.
He's pretty good.
And JJ is the antagonist of the whole series.
JJ's great. I like JJ. Welcome to the Let's Fight a Boss video game podcast. We are here with episode 43. And next to me, I have two of the finest business minds to ever walk the earth. Back from her recent trip from America, it's Ohio State's Salesman of the Year 2 years running. It's Niamh.
Hi, everyone.
And inventor of the last greatest Swiss Army knife you will ever need. It is the most marketable man in video games, Bryan.
Hey everybody, I am made of money.
And with you always, I'm your host, John. So, I've been watching a lot of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yeah, me too.
And I think, Bryan, we're watching it the exact same way because we're not watching it, but our girlfriends are watching it.
Yeah, and we drop in occasionally.
Yeah.
And kind of piece together the lore.
Yeah. I think that's a really genuinely good show. And I never appreciated it when I was little, but like, I think the writing's okay. The writing's pretty decent. But the actors are so fucking funny and like their timing is so good that like it really makes it more than just shitty sitcom.
It's a well-oiled machine.
It is a well-oiled machine. And if you watch it for long enough, Hillary will eventually cosplay one of your favorite anime characters. She was
Gyro Zappelli in a recent episode. She had a studded vest that was in a kind of a 3x12 grid of buttons. It was very, very cool.
In another one, she was like kind of like Jotaro. She had a hat like Jotaro's. And then in another one, she was like just fucking full on Miles Edgeworth. Like it was uncanny. She had like a purple suit with ruffled sleeves. And I was like, what's happening? It was great.
I really, really like Jazz in it.
Jazz is great. Is he DJ Jazzy Jeff?
Yeah.
Wow.
He looks completely different now. But I'm also a big fan of the Eric Andre show. And I think what Hannibal Buress is going for in that is very similar to Jazz, where it's just this kind of very laid back monotone guy. And he always has the shades on. So it's very hard to kind of read his actions.
I like every time they throw him out, because for the first like 4 seasons, he's always wearing the same shirt when they throw him out. So he'll be wearing one shirt and then it'll cut and it'll be him being tossed out and he's wearing another shirt. Because they didn't want to keep recording that.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Because the ones I watched, it's always got the continuity of the clothes.
Not in the early seasons.
In the earlier ones.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. But yeah, that show is great. And like, it's also like weirdly political. Like to the point that I think if that was a new show now, like right now, the way things are, people would be like, what the fuck? You can't say this stuff.
Yeah. A lot of the jokes, because it's early 90s LA, that kind of reflects the Rodney King era of LA and those riots and the treatment of people. And so some of the jokes kind of hit hard.
Yeah. There's a lot of heart in there, I think. Like, it's a pretty cool show.
One of you has been watching the O.J. Simpson.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's another thing. That's a story from so long ago that is so relevant now.
Yeah.
That it's kind of terrifying.
Yeah.
What do you think of it?
The O.J. Simpson team.
Yeah.
The people. I've only watched the first episode, and I thought it was like fantastic. I really, really enjoyed it.
David Schwimmer as
that man's
Rob
a delight.
Kardashian. He's so good.
Yeah, and it's Cuba Gooding Jr. as OJ.
Yeah. It's
and
amazing.
I watched like a documentary on O.J. Simpson, and I also watched his special Juiced, which is an O.J. Simpson's prank show that takes place after the murders, and there's an episode of it on YouTube. You can watch it. It should not exist, but Cuba Gooding Jr. is like fucking killing it as O.J. Simpson. Like, it's uncanny how like good he is at like his mannerisms and the way he talks and stuff.
Yeah, because like they look nothing alike in real life. So when you have a role like that, like it's really just down to hand gestures and the way you carry yourself to get the performance. It's even
like just like the weird little speech patterns, you know. It's really cool as well because, like, at least have you watched many episodes of it?
I finished it.
Yeah, you think it holds up all the way through?
Oh yeah, it's amazing.
Oh man, I'm so excited because this is probably one of the best TV shows I've watched in a while.
One of the best things to do is to Google the character just to see how well the casting has gone. Everyone looks amazing and so spot on.
Do you know who's terrifying?
Who?
John Travolta.
Yeah.
John Travolta. Now, I hate saying mean things about people's appearance, but John Travolta looks like a troll who would eat my babies.
He has a very scary mouth.
He does. Like, I think maybe he got some procedures. I think maybe he should maybe not get any more of them. I think one thing I love about the way they're doing it is, like, you know, everyone has like, you know, their take on whether he did it or not. And it certainly doesn't look too good from my point of view. But I think, like, the way they've done it is O.J. Simpson is either the most tragic character in the world or the most diabolical son of a bitch imaginable. It's, you know, that shot from the end of the first episode, Niamh, and it's him standing over the coffin. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, what the fuck?
I just, maybe too many bangs to the head, but he had no empathy.
Yeah.
He just didn't realize the trouble he was in nearly. I don't know if he was faking it. It's a fantastic series.
Did you listen to the This American Life episode about Juiced?
Yeah. Just anything about it is creepy.
Yeah. It's kind of a bad way. Bryan.
Yes.
Tell us about Homeland Season 6.
Is anybody still watching Homeland?
No.
I don't think even Michelle's watching it.
Niamh, you love Claire Danes.
I know. I got to season 4 with it.
I really, really like season 5. That took place in Germany. This is season 6 and it takes place on the East Coast. So, like, New York, but I think it's going to switch over to Washington eventually. And it reflects a parallel of contemporary America where the first female president got elected and there are brewing controversies about it. And Carrie Matheson, played by Claire Danes, is going to fucking have to figure it out.
That sounds like something I'd like to watch.
Yes.
But I really dropped off hard with it.
Oh, really?
I don't know. Like, Claire Danes wasn't enough. It's the other guy acting alongside with her.
I really like that guy. He just sort of came in season 2 because they realized that the other guy, the ginger guy, wasn't going anywhere.
Oh, what? They've gotten rid of the ginger guy?
He's gone. He's dead.
Okay. Maybe I dropped off earlier than I imagined.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'll go back to it.
But it's just one of those shows that the first season when it came out, it won all the Emmys and it like pushed Breaking Bad out of the way of their kind of 3 in a row.
I think their whole terrorism thing was like perfectly timed for what people wanted to watch.
Yeah, for sure. But it's just really, really unusual because the show's still going, but they don't like, it's really, really hard to kind of come up with what's the next season. I really, really like when a kind of 12 episode series comes back every year and they're trying to do something new with it. And I just really, really like Claire Danes.
Niamh, you have watched a new show.
Yeah.
Legion.
Did any of you guys watch it?
No, not yet.
Oh, Bryan, you will love it. I don't know, there was a certain part in it and I was like, John is going to be so angry. Do I know the part?
Go on.
I want to say it.
Whatever part you think is correct.
It's kind of half a spoiler though. It's not even. It's genre.
Niamh, tell people about.
There's a goddamn dance scene in it.
Oh, cool. I love dancing.
Yeah, and that's I was watching it, I was like, betcha John hates this because he hates dance. Did you hate it?
Niamh, you were very excited about this show. Tell the people about the show.
Okay, Legion is kind of an X-Men spin-off show. It's about the character of Legion, who is a...
Wait, this is official Marvel?
Kinda yes, kinda no.
Is this just someone has picked up the license for this weird nebulous character?
It can't have any of the characters from the film. It can't have the Fox characters. It can't have any mention to X-Men either in it.
They can't use the word mutant?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Yeah.
I had no idea. Wow.
So they're kind of skirting around that, but Legion is a character who has shown up in the X-Men comics for years. The style of the show is insane. It's kind of the 70s future funk. It has really graphic cinematography and set dressing and costuming. It looks amazing. I've never seen a TV show given this level of high concept treatment. Maybe like Hannibal, where they're really sticking to the look. This is every single room is blocked out in individual colors, and there'll be a pop of orange and this lime green that continues out. And it kind of looks closer to Suspiria, just in crazy pink and red lighting. Anyway, it was a fantastic first episode. It's about this guy. He's in a mental hospital because people think he's crazy, but he's not. He's a mutant. So the FBI figure out, it's kind of a prequel to all the X-Men stuff. They kind of figure out mutants are among us, and this guy might be one, but this Legion only thinks that he's mentally ill. He doesn't realize the power he has yet. And at the end of the first episode, he's broke out of the facility and is kind of on his journey. Really, really top class first episode of anything. John, what did you think?
I hated the show, Niamh. I'm sorry, I hated it so much.
Why?
Oh, I just thought it was awful. I thought the acting was awful. I thought the writing was awful.
Is the show super campy?
Yeah, it is. It's campy. There's dancing.
It is, but in a way that it takes itself super seriously.
It doesn't. How did you get seriousness out of it?
Because there's a bunch of people just sitting around in rooms talking really serious about stuff.
But look at the room, John. There's a red, candy red table. There's a guy in a green suit with an afro, whittling a dog that he puts, it's...
And that's all fine. But just the dialogue and even the acting, fucking hell. Niamh, I'm sorry, I know you love this show, but I struggled to get through that first episode, and I'm never watching it again.
You're such a dirt baby.
What? Dirt baby?
A dirt baby? Dirt baby John?
How do you, Aubrey Plaza is in it, and she's shite, and it's how do you make Aubrey Plaza bad? I'm sorry, Niamh,
What did you think of the, costuming or the set dressing?
It was interesting. Mm-hmm. But, I just felt... someone was oh, we have this shot where, two people are sitting at a desk. Can you make that look interesting? And the guy was yep, sure. And he didn't ask what was going on. He didn't ask, the dialogue or the narrative or anything, because it just did not feed into it. It just felt like aesthetic for aesthetic's sake.
It is not. It is not. They're in a mental hospital. It is this hexagon room with this little box room in the middle where you just get your drugs. People go up to little windows to get their drugs in their little yellow cups. And it's everything's color-coded. It's not even spelled out. It's people with yellow in their uniform are kind of high-level patients. People with red are low-level. And it's just really clever design that goes into it. He flips open a book at one stage and it's an iPad inside it. And you're oh, is this future past? Who fucking knows? It's cool.
Can I say a line of dialogue from it?
Go on.
You guys think we're weird. But people thought Albert Einstein was weird.
You what? They did.
They did, yeah. That's true.
And he saved the world.
But that character is a bit of a weenie. I don't think that's the show's... I
thought they were all weenies. I thought everyone in it was a weenie.
Even Aubrey Plaza's a weenie?
Yeah.
Yeah, oh my God.
They're in a mental hospital. They're not in a good place.
So look, this is one of those things where I am just tonally repulsed by this thing.
I'm probably going to wait until a few episodes are out, but I'm really curious to watch this, and I'm going to watch it without any preconceived notions. I'm just going to give it a fair chance.
Well, look, like, one of us really hates it and one of us really loves it, so you are on a complete spectrum. You could think anything in the world of it.
Well, like, if I absolutely love it, does that mean you're wrong? Or if I absolutely hate it, does that mean Niamh's wrong? Is this what's happening?
Well, in the tiny universe that is this podcast, yes, that's exactly what it means.
Because it's that fucking petty.
Because it's, it's majority rule on this podcast.
Well, actually, to be fair, it is majority rules, Niamh.
Yeah.
Because we are the queens and John's a dirt baby.
Oh my God.
I love dirt baby.
Jesus Christ.
I don't matter, it really doesn't matter what it is about Legion. I just like that the word dirt baby came out of it. I think that's that's sweet.
Look, we have no choice but to move on.
Okay.
Do you have anything else to say about Legion? I know you love this show, and it pains me to be this not into it.
I think if you like good storyboarding or like nice constructed shots, it's worth watching. Like, if you draw, it might make you want to draw. Like, if you into storyboarding, it might make you want to do that. It was one of those things that afterwards, you're just like, I want to go and do something creative. It was a treat to behold.
Niamh refuses to break eye contact the entire time she's saying all this.
So the show is it's got very, very strong art direction.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
But does the art direction, if a character is embarrassed, is the room red to reflect that tonally?
No. The room is like these, like it's manky 70s because they're in the mental hospital.
Yeah, so it's very pastiche.
Shit goes wrong. There's a mental breakdown, and he's a really powerful mutant. Everything starts flashing red. And oh my God, there's like a Freddy Nightmares moment in it as well. There's some really good visuals in it.
Did you not think the main actor was really terrible?
He wasn't the one that really tied me into it.
He was the weenie. Yeah,
he's a weenie. He's like a good boy. He's not going to be my favorite character, but I want to see.
Who's your favorite character?
I like the two people who were hunting him in the car. It's a black guy and a girl. They had amazing outfits on. They were good.
I bet this show's amazing.
Why? Niamh?
Because I trust Niamh's opinion more than yours.
That's so mean. Oh my God, that's so mean. You motherfucker.
I'm just winding you up. I trust neither of you.
Niamh, tell us about Resident Evil, the final chapter.
Okay, now to solidify that I have amazing opinions. The final chapter in the Resident Evil franchise.
This is definitely the last.
No. It ends and she's like, guess that wasn't my family. She's like, it's pretty much, no.
Final chapter part 2 is coming out next year.
Yeah, because she opens up and she's like, this is my story, the last part of my story. And at the end she's like, nah, it's cool, I guess I'm here.
I really hope it's like Resident Evil 7, the final chapter, Resident Evil 7, the final chapter part 2, and then Resident Evil 8.
I'd be so down for that. This movie is no better or no worse than any other Resident Evil movie, which means if you like them and you enjoy them, you'll get a lot out of this. Okay, picture the scene. They go in a door, just a giant door, and then there just happens to be a giant fan. The only explanation is it's probably their air duct. Rebecca next to me, my girlfriend, just goes, oh no. Because once you see a giant fan in Resident Evil, you literally know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Someone's going to get liquidated. And it happens. And you're happy for it. So, no good, no better, no worse. There is a thing that I didn't like about it. One of the best parts of the Resident Evil movies are boss fights. The boss fights in this is kind of weak. Wesker was kind of just a throwaway character in this.
I think, we're going to have to come back to the boss fight in Resident Evil, because Brian, you linked this to us earlier, and I think we are
No. This is a different film.
Yeah, I know. But you linked us a boss fight from one of the previous films earlier today.
Yeah.
And it blew my fucking mind.
It's from Resident Evil Afterlife.
We're going to come back to that.
Which is the fourth one, I believe.
Yeah, fourth one.
Sorry to interrupt, you keep going.
So, the boss fights in this aren't as good. Wesker gets taken out pretty quickly. Another thing that isn't great is fight scenes are probably one of the main reasons to watch this. The editing of these fight scenes is done really quickly, really choppy. They cut angles when you're at a point of impact. It's not, you don't really get the sense of what's happening, and that's a real point against it, because there's good choreography happening and good, like, fights happening. It's just not visually there. So yeah, good Resident Evil. Happy they exist.
Yeah, because I think I watched the first one of these years ago.
2002 was the first one for me.
Jesus Christ.
I remember seeing that.
Years ago?
I remember seeing that in the cinema. And I don't think I was old enough at the time, so it was a big deal.
And it was a box office success.
Yeah.
Just saying.
And I'd heard, like, I know that this film franchise had kind of split off from the games, except for, like, they shared, like, a similar pool of characters, but the story was totally different.
Well, it's called the video game characters, but it's got Alice, who's an original character, but she meets all of them, and sometimes she's friends with them, sometimes she has rivalries with them.
But you linked us, Brian, the fight with Albert Wesker.
Yeah, so this is, like, the first time you see him, and he's, like, the main villain at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And this was just incredible. Yeah. Like, I don't even know how to describe it, because, like, on the surface, I'm like, okay, this is a bad fight. But
no, it's not.
It's, well, like, bad as in, like, you're not like, oh, these people are trying to kill each other. Like, you don't feel like this is a big encounter at the end of a movie.
No, it's cheesy and there's no tension.
It's really cheesy and there's no tension, and it's amazing. It's so good.
That's what they do well. That's
like,
the magic
I
of
want
the
to go
Resident
back
Evil
and
films.
watch it all now.
It's so confident in its own inabilities.
And even the editing was so strange and jarring. And it's like, no, you don't cut there. And it's like, I couldn't believe it.
I really, really like the second Resident Evil because it's got Jill Valentine in it. That film is fucking cool.
1, 2, and 3 are kind of arguably good movies.
Yeah, because I remember when I watched the first one, I didn't at the time think it was like a bad movie.
No, they're like,
or even that cheesy.
They're kind of like, B tier. You're going to have a good time, but like there's nothing crazy weird in them.
Yeah.
Then like 4, 5, and 6 is just when they're like, okay, we're going to shoot this like a commercial. There's going to be loads of slow motion. It's going to be crazy boss fights, and the story doesn't really not matter. So like they're amazing still, but in a different special way.
Yeah, because I enjoyed the hell out of the Wesker fight. Like it was, there's a bit where a dog leaps at a woman and the woman kicks a piece of shattered glass into the dog in slow motion and kills it.
She's very, very smart.
She looked really cool.
Yeah. I think we'll just loot drop that particular clip.
Yeah. Special bonus loot drop.
For sure.
Yeah. Okay. And with that, we are going to move into our strategy talk segment. So this is the video game portion of our podcast, or more specifically, the video games we've been playing. And Niamh, I'm going to start with you because you have been playing Fire Emblem Heroes.
I have. I've been putting a lot of time into this.
How much time?
I have 2 teams that are about level 30.
Wow.
So, I don't know, a fair amount, maybe 10 hours?
10 hours?
Yeah.
Wow. Tempted to put any money in?
I haven't come to, like, okay, there's this sweet spot after release where things take less stamina, and training towers are, like, less stamina, which is kind of where you would probably spend the most is your stamina points. You get 50, and there's a cost for every map.
Yeah.
Ranges from 2 up to 11 when you get up into the higher levels. So I can see that's where you would, but I haven't ran into a situation where I've had to spend any yet. But, like, once my stamina runs out, I'm totally okay with leaving it, putting it down. Like, there's nothing really in it that's grabbing me to be like, I need to continuously play this even though I don't have stamina.
So, the thing that was grabbing me was I really wanted Tarja. I really, really wanted to get Tarja. And I was like, well, look, I'll just keep playing till I get Tarja. And then, I'd roll a few times and I didn't get her. And so then I was looking at, like, the price list. And I was like, well, I could maybe just put in a couple of bucks, see if I get Tarja. And I was kind of thinking about it. But it was about that time that Kotaku released an article, and it was called "Man Spends Nearly $1,000 on Fire Emblem Heroes and Still Doesn't Have," who was it?
Hector.
Yeah. Who is... I've got a 5-star Hector.
Now, here's the crazy thing, because Bryan downloaded it, and me and Bryan were out for dinner, as we will do on occasion, and I was like, go on, open it up, let's see what you got. And Bryan didn't really want to, because he didn't want to become addicted.
Yeah.
And Bryan, you tell the story. How did your first pull for a character go?
So I guess it's kind of like Love Live, where you kind of do a blind box about who you're going to get, and you might get duds or you might get like the fucking best characters. On my first go, I got a 5-star Marth, 5-star Hector, 4-star Robin. They're basically like top tier characters. The game, I play the game on autoplay because I don't need to play it. Ever.
Yeah, because for me it was like purely just I want to collect these characters. And then I was like, wait a minute, I should just go get Conquest.
Yes.
And so I deleted it.
I'm still going with it.
You enjoying it?
Yeah, like my roll was not as good as that. My first roll was pretty good, and then I was like, I can do better. And I couldn't, and it sucked. And I finally got to a place where I got 3 4-stars and 1 5-star. And I was like, okay. And I got a 4-star Tarja, so I'm pretty good with that.
Fuck.
And a 5-star Effie, who was just a tank.
Does Tarja have like a good animation?
Yeah.
I really, really like the drawings of the
cool.
characters. Mm-hmm. Some of the older characters from like the Game Boy Advance games, things like that, they use a different art style for them. I'm sure you've noticed it. And then some of them are original characters, and they have like this really dramatic shading on them. So it does have like a weird mixed art style.
Yeah.
But like,
I liked most of them. Like, they didn't blend very well, but I thought they looked good at least.
it kind of reminds you of Danganronpa, where none of the character models kind of hook up that well.
Yeah.
I think they're all different illustrators who are popular who did like batches of them.
For sure.
So I think that's a selling point for other people, because like the voice actor is a selling point for a lot of people as well, where it wouldn't really be my cup of tea.
Yeah.
I never get how fanatical people get about voice actors.
Yeah, I guess it's the closest to a real solid representation of something you love or something.
I guess so, yeah.
I think if I met the Simpsons voice actors, I'll be pretty excited.
Yeah.
Yeah, like meeting Hank Azaria, I'd say he's got some fucking cool stories.
I'd say so, yeah.
I never want to meet anyone I care about ever.
Niamh, everyone.
But you do a podcast with your 2 favorite people.
Yeah,
Your
well, you
favorite
know,
people in the whole
meeting
world.
someone famous.
John's famous.
I knew him pre-fame.
Don't let the fame get to you, buddy.
The game is really nice amount of work put into it. There's nice animation on all the characters, and there's parallaxing little backgrounds when you go in.
It feels good to move the characters around. Like, just dragging the characters around and dropping them on an opponent. That feels good. And they really nailed that.
I'm happy to continue with it. Yes. I don't think I'm ever going to addict to it. I had the exact feeling of like, I should probably just get Conquest because I'd have more fun with it.
Although I went to Smith's to try and pick up Conquest afterwards, and they had a bunch of Conquest boxes and just sold out stickers on all of them. So I wonder, is this thing driving up sales of the previous Fire Emblem games?
When I was trying to get Awakening, I had so much trouble trying to get it in a shop. They were like, we got the first stock in and we never restocked it.
It's a niche JRPG in Ireland.
Because I saw some... Your problem with Birthright, Bryan, was just weak waifus. Not good.
Yeah. Well, it's got a fake Tarja, and she's the lesbian character, and I was role-playing as a female lesbian avatar, so I went right for that, and that was pretty good.
That's cool.
The rest of the girls, can't remember them.
Because I saw some pretty good prospects in Conquest. I was like, yeah, you know what, this could work out.
Some prime material.
I think I even know which one you're talking about.
There's a few. It's like a castle.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, it's Camilla.
Who's that?
You know exactly who Camilla is.
The girl,
she's the one with purple hair.
The boob witch.
Yeah, the boob witch.
She flies around with a dragon and she has an axe.
Yeah, she seemed pretty cool.
She's a Wyvern rider.
But then there's another girl with like blue hair. Do you know the one?
Oh, yeah. She's cool.
They're both. I would be honored to be with either of them.
She has
in the game.
She's got like frost blue hair, so she kind of looks like a slush puppy. That kind of color blue.
What's her name?
Girl.
Is she on? She's a mounted one. She's the Farina. Farina.
I have no idea.
I have a 5-star one of her.
I think I have a 4-star. God damn it, Niamh.
She's my angel.
Stop taking all my women.
That's cool.
But yeah, like I think like the thing I said to you, Niamh, about it was like, I think that game's a good mobile game. I don't think it's a particularly good game, but I think if you want to tap away at something while you're watching a movie or a TV show, there's probably way worse ways to go.
It kind of made me a bit disappointed for what Animal Crossing will be. You can kind of see where the trappings will be in terms of cooldown counters. Like, this is a really well-made, free game that from Nintendo. We're more than likely going to get the same standard from everything else they release for mobile. So it's kind of like, oh, what will their mobile games be like? We know now. They're mobile games. They're fun.
Yeah, I was never expecting anything else, really. Mm-hmm. I'm curious to see what Animal Crossing is, just because I think there's a bunch of different ways they could take it.
It could be like a farming sim game.
Yeah.
Because that's pretty popular as an app already.
But all these mobile games, it's like, just buy the actual game. Nearly. If you really love it, that's what you'll do. You'll buy the game. If you're kind of casually into it, will you drop that much money into it?
I've no interest in putting money into Fire Emblem
Heroes.
Heroes.
What's the crazy figure? It's like 0.05% of people who play mobile games that most of the money is generated from.
So it's the whales, yeah.
And like, you know, I don't feel tempted to become a whale for Fire Emblem Heroes, but those guys exist for sure. And Bryan, Yokai Watch 2.
Yeah, I thought I'd finished Yokai Watch 2, but turns out I hadn't, but I'm just about to finish it now. That game is the gift that keeps on giving. I really, really like that game.
Yeah.
The third game came out in Japan on the 3DS, like, I think during the summer, so I don't know if it's going to come out over here, if the Switch is going to be out, but sometimes they do 3DS or past console releases. But I really, really like supporting Yokai Watch. I think it's cool.
Yeah, I really, really want to pick up one of them.
It starts off very, very similar to the first game, but it's definitely a different game by the end of it. Cool. It's a very, like, because it's the exact same world and map of the first game, but a few more places to visit, but they're not reusing the same locations for the same kind of scenarios.
So you know the way in Pokemon, like you go around the 8 gyms, you fight the gym leaders, you go to the Elite Four, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
How does Yokai Watch escalate? Like, what's the story there?
You'll play a story that seems to be building towards, because at the start of this game, you get your watch stolen and your memories of the yokai get set back to 0.
Oh no.
And it was done by, these 2 evil witch yokai. So from time to time, you will encounter them and they're kind of like more main story focused.
So there's like a big bad.
Oh yeah. But then there's like, they're like, it's really broken into like episodic chapters, because there's one just about Jibinyan's backstory. And they borrow heavily from the TV show and vice versa. But this is like, between episode 20 and 30 of the TV show and the first Yokai Watch movie as a video game.
Yeah.
It's really, really cool how they do it.
You sound like you really like that series.
Yeah, I do. It's my favorite handheld series at the moment, for sure.
That's cool.
If someone was to get into it, do they play the first Yokai Watch or the current one? This is an extension of the map, isn't it?
Yeah, it's fairly. For me, I'd be happy to recommend the first or the second one. Like there isn't too much of a gap between them, really.
Is there? I think there was some I remember you having some frustrating stuff with, like, I can't remember specifically, but it was like menu or something with the first one.
I guess the menu system is a bit tighter in the second one.
Yeah,
but
you want a tight menu in RPGs.
Yeah, then for a bunch of streamlined stuff, I'd recommend the second one.
Yeah. Cool. So I won't talk about these for too long because I mentioned them both before, but I've been playing Final Fantasy 15 and Nier in tandem, and man, like, the more I play, the further apart those two get in my, like, kind of opinion of them. Final Fantasy 15 just keeps going downhill, I feel like. I did the mission where you get the car back.
Yeah.
And it's just, I didn't know what I was doing. Like, it's like, blow up the tanks, and you're like, okay. And so I blew up the tanks. I spent like ages going around this massive complex and like climbing in turrets and trying to spot all these tanks to blow up. But then it turns out I didn't need to blow up the tanks. I needed to kill all the guards, which I couldn't do because one of them had clipped into a wall and literally couldn't see him for ages until finally I was like, there he is, and killed him. And the mission took like an hour, and it was bad. I did get my first summon. Ramuh came along, and that looked really cool. Like, that looked really, really impressive. But it is just that kind of thing where, and actually we had got a few comments about this last week, just saying about how like in the narrative of that world, the gods are kind of fickle, and so they decide when to come along. And I think that's all well and good, but it really takes away from the gameplay aspect of that thing, because there's no strategy in when you pick them. Like, when to summon was such a big part of the earlier games, especially in 10, when they actually fought for you and, you know, you could make them take a big hit. That was really important. And I really feel like that's missing. And I feel that is a combat system that really needs an extra layer or two, because most of the time I'm just holding attack and waiting to use potions.
That comment was like a really good narrative reason for that. Like, totally. If you want to like build a narrative in your head while you're playing, that's a good one. The gods are fickle, and like Ramuh seems to like me way more than Shiva or Bahamut or anyone else. He showed up all the time. But like Aranea Highwind is the exact same concept. She helps you out later on. She'll just drop into battle, but she chooses when she wants to do that as well. So it used to happen, her cutscene of her dropping in takes so long that by the time she dropped in, I'd finished fighting, and she lands and then goes, well, guess you don't need me, and then disappears again. And I was like, I had no choice. I did not call you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I felt like I was wasting her time.
Yeah. But I'm still playing it because I really want to see this one through. But yeah, God, that game does not flow well. Mm-hmm. Like, there was a bit where like I had lost my car, and I went and I spoke to a dog, and then I had to follow the dog, and then I had a dream about a woman, and then the woman told me to go to a mountain where I had to touch a stone, and then a lightning man showed up.
That sounds normal.
And
a few people have suggested to us that we'd enjoy the narrative more if we look at the media outside it.
Well, okay, I will do that. Mm-hmm. I have a feeling it will not help, but I will do that.
I've watched all the anime. I'm going to watch Kingsglaive, and I'll report back. But my criticism of that is, if you have a 50-hour game, like even if you want to go 20 to 50 hours, depending on how much narrative they want to put in, and you can't tell a cohesive story, and this story doesn't seem big. Like, I'm not drowning in how big it is. Yeah. I'm drowning in how unclear it is. Yeah. If you can't tell the story given that time frame, there's something wrong with your narrative. That's just a bad narrative.
And I also feel like, I know like a big part of it is narrative and like the disjointed narrative, but I also feel like the tone of it is so disjointed as well. Because like we were talking about the Yakuza games earlier, and how like I couldn't really tell you what happened in Yakuza 3 at this point. I have a vague idea, but even like there were parts where I was like, oh shit, who's this character? What happens? But that game is so committed to its own tone and its own very particular brand of kind of zaniness that I could always be on board with it. But a lot of time with Final Fantasy 15, I'm like, what am I meant to be feeling? Like, is this meant to be an adventure? You know? And that's kind of a tricky one. On the flip side, I've been playing a bunch of Nier, and yeah, no, okay, it's only the most minor of spoilers, but there's a time skip in Nier, and I'm now after the time skip, and that game's fucking crazy. Holy shit. Like, they add, like, before the time skip, you have access to one kind of weapon, just a short sword, and after the time skip, your man can just all of a sudden use, like, big two-handed swords and spears, and they feel so much better. They're so much more enjoyable to use, and I can't understand why they would lock this behind the time skip. There's no narrative reason for it. It just, the time skip happened and it just goes, you can use spears now.
We could narratively justifying it within the story. You can, if you wanted to do that, the time skip, he trained, he learned.
You could, but they didn't. But I don't mind either, because this game is it's so strange and the tone of it is so good, but like, there's all these really lovely little moments in it. Like, you meet that little boy Emil. Yeah. And then him and Kaine have this really weird little moment where she's like, donate your body. It's really cool and sad. And Emil changed.
No, Emil.
That game is...
Emil does not get over that.
That game is an absolute treasure. And like the cutscenes, and he's so upset. And like the voice actor crying was like amazing. And I am like all in on this game. I haven't enjoyed a game this much in a while. It is a pure delight.
I'm happy for you.
Yeah, I'm having a terrific time.
I'm sorry Final Fantasy 15 isn't as hot as it was meant to be.
Well, I'm kind of fascinated with it as well, because like, what the fuck is this game?
Maybe the developers got so lost in their own development over the 10 years that they just forgot what it looked like for someone who'd never seen the game.
Oh, for sure. Like, it's a game copy-pasted together. And, like, that's the other side of it. Like, Yakuza and Nier don't feel like that. Mm-hmm. They feel like someone had a crazy vision, and as ridiculous as it was, they followed it through. Just with Final Fantasy 15, it just feels like assets pasted together for me. Look, I know a lot of people love that game. And, you know, if you like it, awesome. But this is just my honest opinion of it.
If you like it, awesome, that's great. But you really can't defend it for having a good story.
Yeah.
Like 4 years ago, they rebranded it from 13 Verses to 15. And you're dealing with kingdoms and kings and like people fighting, like big giant communities and land masses fighting. That is never represented. So when you took away the 13 aspect of it, they had to build a new world from the ground up. They had to build a new conflict. And that's where things kind of didn't happen, or they had half ideas and they didn't come true. It's like, when you change something that's that big so many times, stuff is going to get lost.
I just met Ravis properly for the first time. And it's like...
He likes to rave.
I wish. And he's just like... It was like they were just like, okay, now we need a bad guy. Mm-hmm. And like the setting and everything was like, why is he here? Anyway, look, we'll move on. Bryan, you beat Resident Evil 7, and we're actually going to do a little bit of a spoiler cast for Resident Evil 7 after this, but I think right now we should just do like a little spoiler-free walkthrough or spoiler-free discussion on that game.
Sure.
So, how are you feeling about it?
It starts off strong, ends weak.
Yeah.
I'd rank it in the middle of the Resident Evils. I'm going to be like completely fair and say it's better than The Evil Within.
Yeah, definitely.
Which is good, because like that's a proper...
Seriously, Niamh?
I like The Evil Within. It gets really bad towards the end.
I really like The Evil Within, and I think Shinji Mikami is such a cool game director.
Yeah, he's awesome.
And he is like the original Resident Evil director, I guess. Like, he is the DNA of Resident Evil.
I feel like Resident Evil 7 is the best and worst of Resident Evil.
Yeah.
It feels like the movies.
Yeah, it does a bit. It's kind of stupid.
Towards the end for me, like, it's hard because I feel like the start of that game is like a 10. Like, 3 hours in, I was like, fucking Game of the Year contender right here. This is amazing. And then towards the end, because like there's all these like these bits and they're so carefully made. Like, you know, the house, and there's all these little alcoves and hatches you can go down to run from the guy. And there's that bit where he comes through the wall, which is, I think, one of the best scares in Resident Evil maybe ever. And then at the end, it's just all these long tunnels where they've dropped the Molded, who are probably one of the worst monsters that have been in Resident Evil ever. They would have been fine if the first time you encountered them is the last time, but they were just so unimaginative and just not fun.
Yeah, for sure. I kind of played through the last third of the game just today, and nothing stood out to me as kind of being memorable.
No. I can't believe... I don't want to get too spoilery.
No, we'll talk about it.
Look, we'll wait. We'll leave it.
Thank you for listening. To be continued very soon.
Absolutely. Okay, with that, we're going to move on into our Quicktime Events. Valve are working on 3 full VR games.
Sweet.
Sure. I think it's interesting that that's what Valve are backing.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a PC gamer and you're really into it, the chances of you being invested in the Vive or Oculus are kind of higher, I think.
Yeah, it's interesting timing though, because I feel like, you know, you have the whole stuff with the Oculus lawsuit and them paying like 500 million to ZeniMax, and we'll get into that as well, but I guess the general consensus I kind of feel right now is it's not that VR is dead, it's that VR hasn't landed.
I traded in my VR.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Holy shit. What made you do it?
Nothing was coming out, and I was like, if I'm going to get good money for it, I'm going to get it now. Yep. And I will be on board for wireless 2.0, you know? The next version.
That's probably a safe bet.
I kind of feel like I'm going to pick it up again, but there was
just no reason to own one.
There's just nothing. After you played what's there, I was kind of like, I don't really want to hold on to something this expensive and wait.
Because, like, it is the price of a console.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's interesting to me that, like, that's where the kind of, like, I guess, headspace, the general headspace is right now, and Valve are putting that much resources behind 3 VR games.
Do you think one of them's Half-Life 3? Like, do you think they would do that? I don't care if it is or not.
I don't know if they'll do a solo first-person shooter or a team-based, party shooter like Team Fortress again.
Well, one of the reasons people say that, like, Half-Life 3 isn't a thing is because the main difference between Half-Life 1 and 2 was physics.
Yeah.
And the physics in Half-Life 2 were fine. They were really interesting for the time, but there hasn't really been a game changer like that since computers could start processing physics.
How about, like, something that's got the cleverness of a Portal, but using VR technology?
Like, that's what VR games are good at. It's kind of making a simple concept.
Something mind-bending. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like they would do it for that reason, being like, this is the new technology.
But do you think they'd make a Half-Life game or a Portal game in that case?
I think it'd be a Portal game.
Yeah, because, like, Half-Life games are so specific in what they are,
But if your goal is to sell, like, to move headsets and to sell this game, I mean, what would be the ultimate killer app on a VR headset than Far Cry 3? Not Far Cry 3.
Half-Life 3.
Half-Life 3.
That would do it. Like, that would definitely do it.
It's what the people want. Mm-hmm. Well, how there's always that, like, the orange box tree that everyone's like, imagine if they did it, where it's just...
That's still my favorite conspiracy theory.
That, like, they're just going to announce Half-Life 3, Portal 3, and Team Fortress 3.
Left 4 Dead 3? No, I think it was just...
It was just the orange box.
Yeah.
And it was like, and it's out today. And everyone would lose their shit.
Like, I would
That's not real.
It's not real. I would not... Like, if any company was going to do it, Valve would.
Yeah, because fuck it.
Yeah.
They could do whatever they want. They own their own company.
Anyway, moving on into the real news. Street Fighter V, Kolin announced. How pumped are you guys for this?
I'm really fucking excited.
Where's she from?
I don't know.
She's never been a playable character. She's like a story character that's like an assistant to someone.
In Street Fighter 3, when you get to Gil in arcade mode, she stands behind him and takes his robe as he derobes.
I'm glad that she has a role now.
Yeah.
And she's Ice.
Yeah. She was in Street Fighter V story mode as well, where she never did anything. And, like, it didn't seem like she could fight. But now she can fight.
I'm not saying Street Fighter characters like to rip off other better characters, especially 5.
We'll come back to that.
But, she really has a bit of a Dragunov meets Nina Williams meets Zarya, Russian, blonde. Like, she has, like, an alternative outfit that pretty much
Niamh,
looks like Nina Williams.
I want you to go home after this, and I want you to type Kazuya Mishima into a search engine, and then I want you to type Ryu from Street Fighter, and just see what comes up, okay?
I know which is the more iconic design.
Good.
And Kolin, is her name like Kolin as in like Irish?
They're pronouncing it Colleen as in Irish for girl.
Yeah, Colleen. And
I'm just saying Nina Williams, but she looks Russian as well. There's like...
Niamh, this narrative, like, what the fuck are you talking... She's a counter character. That's awesome. And she has cool grapples. I like her. I'm going to do fan art at some point.
Of course you are.
Yep.
I'm sure you'll be like, after a month, you'll be like, well, I'm not playing Street Fighter 5 again, but then they'll have another girl and you'll be like, oh, I love this game.
Well, then Desco's scheduled to come out, so yeah, for sure.
That's how they keep getting you.
I thought she looked cool. I still don't know what the future is for Street Fighter 5. I think that game is in a weird spot. South Park, The Fractured But Whole, delayed again.
I knew this was going to happen. Because I went into GameStop last week.
Jesus Christ, fucking an ounce of professionalism.
Oh yeah, I see it now.
Such a good name.
Yeah, it is. I was in GameStop last week and it said it was coming out like at the end of March, and I was like, but there hasn't been an update on this game since September last year. This game's getting fucking delayed past the quarter.
And do we know, because did they give an actual date on it?
No, they just said it was like the end of their fiscal year, so that's anywhere between April 2017 and March 2018.
God, the idea that this could come out in 2018.
Yeah.
The first game had like 3 or 4 delays, so...
Oh, the first one got delayed for the better part of a decade.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it was originally meant to be Skyrim South Park.
Yeah.
And so imagine the journey that took it from that to what it is.
Then I think when they gave it a release date, it was like 2012 and it didn't come out till 2014 anyway.
Yeah.
So if they've had trouble development.
It is a little disappointing, but at the same time, I feel like there's so much shit out now. I cannot be sad for any game getting delayed unless it's like, you know, like a Zelda or a Persona. That would hurt.
Please don't do that. It's so soon.
Yep. What do you guys think of E3 tickets available to the public?
More fucking queues. That's what I think.
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah. It is good, but I would not ever attend one of those things. I hate queuing so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why, if you had, like, as a member of the public, like, they were doing 15,000 tickets to the public.
I think it's 10% of the attendance.
Yeah.
Yeah. The way E3 works is that the first few days are reporters, and then the last 2 or 3 days is when they open it to the general public, isn't it?
But I feel like if you, from what I've heard, if you are, like, in any way clever with your registration form, no matter what you do, you can get in.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of sucks because this is probably the first time we could have actually gone to E3. Not that we want to, but...
But because we're notable personalities on the internet to an extent to talk about games.
Enough to get into E3, which is not a high bar.
Because it probably feeds more into the whole thing that less and less reporters and journalists' opinions are of value, and Let's Players that are hype machines are where it's at.
Yeah, well, even I think Alex Navarro was talking about how, you know, when you go to E3 now, you see a bunch of people with selfie sticks and like doing reaction shots and stuff like that. And, you know, everyone has their own thoughts about it, but it's also, that doesn't seem like something you can fight.
Yeah, it's kind of like an end of an era, but if you hear anyone who kind of disparages E3, not in a bad way, but kind of says, what is the use of it? It's people who are in games media. They're like, we don't need this anymore.
Yeah, and on like a practical level, you absolutely don't.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the internet has, like, because E3 used to be the only place you could go to look at these trailers and stuff. And now you don't need that. You have YouTube, you have viral marketing, you have all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it seems like some place like Giant Bomb, the only main use they have for E3 is to get a hold of the developers or the CEOs of Microsoft, whatever, and grill them for half an hour on their stage.
And even then, like they say that they go to E3 now and they barely go to the show floor at all. They set up in a hotel near E3, they stream the whole thing and they comment from there. I love their E3 streams.
So, like, with that in mind, the people who do get most out of it, like, it's gamer Christmas, like everyone on Twitter and people freaking out in that sense. I don't think it's in any way a bad sign to have a few, like, 15,000 people on the show floor, like, freaking out there.
Yeah. No, yeah, I think it's
I don't think
totally
I think it'll be business as usual.
It'll be a lot of amateur YouTubers and game bloggers, and they'll be having a blast.
Yeah.
And they'll be singing the praises of anything.
I wonder will it boost E3's popularity?
I'd say so.
Yeah.
Much like the PS4 Pro boost mode.
Uh-oh.
That was fucking exceptional. I gotta give it up to myself there.
Yeah, well done.
Thank you. So the PS4 Pro now has a boost mode where it's going to, I guess, up the fidelity of older games.
Yeah, it lets the GPU and the CPU clock speeds. It opens them up. So games that won't be patched, like, you know, you'll have a Pro mode and a standard mode. If there isn't a Pro mode patch for older titles or ones that developers aren't going to go back and do, this will give them a noticeable bump.
Yeah. I think the more user case Sony can generate for that thing, the better, because that has been one of the most tepid reactions ever.
I still wish it unlocked Bloodborne to be 60 frames per second.
Yeah.
Because that's a Sony exclusive. I just thought that was a missed opportunity.
Yeah, and it's never going to be on PC, so...
Yeah, for me, that would be a reason why I'd buy a PS4 right away. I'm sure I'll own one eventually, because
Would you buy a Pro just if it could run... Like, I know that's like one of your favorite games ever.
I'd be very tempted to, yes.
Holy shit, wow.
Just because I've got a special edition PS4, I've got the Metal Gear Solid one, but I know I'm just going to trade that off in a year or two anyway.
Really?
Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah. I kind of had a realization there where I was like, I don't know if I'd ever trade in my PS4 because it's got PT on it. Yeah, I will. Like, I don't care.
I know, you just wipe it anyway.
Yeah, I'll just watch it. Let's play.
Yeah, some guy's just doing it.
Yeah.
I'm sure at that point some guy will have it like dumped on a torrent site.
Yeah, and like, we played PT, Bryan.
Yeah.
And that was like a really fun experience, and we're never going to get as good as that again.
Fuck no. That was like, great. That was that. The end.
The part where we turned the hall, and the hall was like 1,000,000 miles long and just completely red.
And we all just experienced that. Oh, yeah. No.
That was really good.
Yeah.
But, and then Oculus pays $500 million to ZeniMax. This is a weird story.
I don't know anything about this.
So, Oculus and ZeniMax have been in this overdrawn court case where it was all to do with like who owns the technology behind the Oculus Rift, because John Carmack left ZeniMax to go work for Oculus. Palmer Luckey's involved in there somewhere. And so they recently came to like the result of their court ruling, which was like $500 million from Oculus to ZeniMax, which sounds really bad for Oculus until you realize they were being sued for $8 billion. Plus, Oculus is owned by Facebook, and Facebook basically came out and were like, we can spare $500 million.
Billion or million?
Million.
500 million, okay.
Sued for $8 billion, then actually got charged for $500 million.
Okay, yeah, that's just like changing the couch for Facebook.
Yeah, and so Oculus are actually kind of considering this like kind of a sort of backwards win, because they lost, but they didn't lost anywhere near as bad as they could. But now ZeniMax is imposing an injunction on the Rift, trying so that they can't sell it anymore. But we don't know how that's going to go yet.
Just give VR a chance, everyone.
It's a big fucking mess.
So they basically, John Carmack and Luckey took trade secrets from one company.
It gets tricky.
Yeah.
Because what John Carmack says is he took the code for Rage. Remember that game?
Mm-hmm.
And he said, I took the code for Rage. I didn't benefit from it. I didn't use it to make anything in the Oculus. I don't know. But, yep, this is what they're getting me for.
There was some shady stuff as well where he had Googled how to clear hard drives.
Mm-hmm.
So he took some stuff, which is probably in bad form. How much it connected to Oculus?
Yeah.
I don't know.
But the thing that they were able to get him on was like, it was like he actually started tweeting about it, and he was like,
don't do that.
Yeah. It was like he had solved a problem at ZeniMax, and they needed to solve the same problem again at Oculus. And he didn't use the same methodology, but it was like based in the same reasoning.
Yeah, okay.
And the defense made the case that was also copyright infringement, and the jury agreed. And John Carmack's been going like insane, being like, if you showed this to programmers, they would tear this apart because it's such bullshit. So, I don't know. But yeah, it's just another kind of, I guess, speed bump in the whole kind of VR thing. Like, I don't know how much of an actual effect it'll have, but it's kind of like, it has not been a smooth ride. The VR hasn't penetrated in the way you think in the way it could have, I guess.
They really need to come down in price. The headsets. That's pretty much it.
I think the biggest challenge is they need to get VR headsets on people's faces. They need to be like, look, this is VR, and it's not phone VR, like it's actual VR.
I still haven't done it, and I'm not going out of my way to do it. I'm not queuing up for it. I just have to see it at a shopping centre.
Yeah.
For free. I'm not paying
Apparently
for it.
They're everywhere in America, and no one's using them.
Well,
I don't want to put gunky shit on my head. Like, well, what if a bad person's been wearing it?
when then you get like fucked up eyes.
Yeah, totally. And then the final QuickTime event we have today is the GameSpot Circle of Life.
Is this the Polygon article?
This was a Kotaku article.
Oh, it's a Kotaku article.
Yeah. What do you guys know about this?
I know there's a Mega 64 sketch that's sort of...
I thought that was a good sketch.
Yeah, that was really, really good.
So this is GameStop, the shop, that has a program where its goal is not to sell you new stock, but to sell second-hand stock.
Because they make 100% of the profits off second-hand.
Yeah.
So if you're an employee of GameStop, 30% of your sales at least have to be pre-owned material, is the kind of rule. And the way they figure it is that if someone comes in, this is what they tell their employees. If someone comes into GameStop and buys a brand new game and doesn't trade anything in, pre-order anything, or like get a game, their subscription thing, that's GameStop losing money. Even though they're not actually losing money, they do, like, they came out and claimed that they make about $2 off a new release. That's not true. They make about $12 off a release. And it's just the first in a long line of GameSpot just kind of being shitbags. God. The amount of things that GameSpot have been blamed for unjustly over the years. But, and like, just to be clear, not talking about GameStop employees. Like, those guys have it the worst out of anyone.
But wasn't it a case where this is kind of like, the suggested thing is to sell more second home product, but different employees took it on themselves because they were worried about losing their jobs, like, because they're in a shit situation. They took it on themselves to kind of maybe lie to the consumer. Like, if someone came in and they were like, I want to get Mafia 3, they were like, we've no new copies, but we have pre-owned copies.
Yeah.
Like, little lies like that, trying to push pre-owned consoles before they try and push the...
So that was a point that was brought up in the interview. And I talked to one of our friends who's a GameStop employee, and she was saying she's never heard anyone doing that. But I think even if they are, I don't think it's a good thing to do. But at the same time, I think that is a systematic problem. Like, they are being, like, because these people are worried that they're going to lose their jobs. And like, there were, in the article, there were stuff about people who were amazing salespeople, could sell left, right, and center, who lost their jobs because they didn't sell enough secondhand stuff. So that is a really real concern for those people. And so, like, if that was me, if I had to, like, make sure I sold more secondhand stuff or I wasn't going to be able to eat, I would definitely be like, no, bro, we don't have Saints Row 3, the third new, but here you go. Here's a secondhand copy.
I couldn't do that.
But like, I don't know. I don't think.
But once you start doing it, then everyone has a reason to do it. Like, it's there's a bigger problem here, obviously. Yeah. But
I definitely wouldn't blame the employees.
No, completely. It makes me nervous, like, knowing we've all our Switches pre-ordered in GameStop.
Yep.
And that kind of like has me, I hate the idea of having to go in there and having to know that I'm going to have to sidestep all this other shit I do not want. I just want the system and the game, and I want to leave. Like, it is always a dance with those, like, with them. It's just like...
They always want you to buy the insurance.
Yeah.
And you're like, but I'm a responsible adult.
I remember the first time someone offered me insurance at GameStop, and I was just fucking baffled. I was like, what do you mean? I was like if... I think he was like, if someone breaks your game. And I was like, what? But yeah, it just seemed like the craziest thing to me. And it still seems crazy. It still seems crazy that you do it, but it's fucking weird. It's physical media versus digital media, and this is the crazy things that are resulting from the battle.
If digital media just came down in price by 15-20%, there would be such a huge difference there. Because right now it's like physical media is still cheaper than going to PSN.
Oh yeah.
On release day.
And that kind of, I don't understand why that is.
Yeah. It's like you're not manufacturing a box or a disc.
Yeah.
It's like you're getting all the profit.
And I feel like if they did that, if they just, lowered their prices by 50%, like GameStop would be gone, like in a year.
Probably, yeah.
Especially with Amazon as well.
Yeah, true. And so with that, we're going to forego our final form for right now, because we're going to take our Resident Evil spoiler cast a little later on, and we're going to move on into our emails. Okay, so the first email we got is from Tari. Tari has a bunch of questions, so I'll probably go through these quick enough. Hi, have you written feature-length animated scripts or scripts for episodes of an animation? No.
No, I've written stuff for animated shorts.
Yeah, Bryan does some good stuff with animated shorts.
I love storytelling.
Yeah, he does.
I like writing dialogue as well. Scripts, I find scripts fascinating.
Yeah, they are. Can you recommend YouTube vids or podcasts about writing script for animation? That's a tough one. I'd say, like, there's very little that I think applies to regular scripts that doesn't apply to animation scripts. Like, it's all storytelling at the end of the day.
Yeah, the only guy I can think of, and he's very, very controversial, he's a love him or hate him guy, is Max Landis. Sometimes I hate him, sometimes I love him.
He's got some videos I really love.
His YouTube channel is called Up to My Knees. I think that's what it's called. But like, he loves script writing.
He's very passionate. Like, whatever you think about him, he's very, very passionate.
Yeah. He's a big fan of comics. So I guess that kind of blends in with animation, in that it's kind of all kinds of genres and fantasies. But he's very interesting to listen to talk about scripts.
Yeah. And one thing I would say on that is, like, I do feel there is a point where script writers get very, very bogged down with rules and, you're at this point in your story, now the hero has this choice so he can do A or B. And I do feel like it does just get to the point where the whole process becomes so constrained that it limits whatever you're working on. Like, I think above, like, rules or anything like that, you should be excited to write whatever you are writing. Like, that's my rule when I write. Like, just make sure that you're happy to work on it.
I think if you wanted to get into live action versus animation, depending on the size of your team or who you think will be working on this, the sky's the limit with animation. You can, like, draw what you assume the inside of a mind is like, when you want to do that in live action, you're talking about, like, miniatures, you're talking about CG, you're talking about way more expensive ways of doing this.
Yeah.
Animation, it can be done, like, you can, like, the Late Night Work Club team have done really trippy animated stories, high concept stuff, all animated by very small teams of people. And that's the nice thing about animation is really your imagination is the limit.
Yeah, totally. And that kind of feeds into the next question. What would you say are the core differences between writing for live action and for animation?
It's definitely the editing. When you're writing or doing the pre-production on live action, you are going to do as much coverage as possible. Whereas with animation, you want that tightened as much as possible because animation is so expensive to produce that there's no point filming something if it's not going to be in the final film.
Yeah, you can storyboard all day on live action stuff and talk about what to keep or not. But on the high end of animation, stuff is so expensive that you can't afford to cut anything. It's why you see so few, like, deleted scenes from animated films.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have stuff on the editing room floor.
Usually with animation, there's a great quote from Pete Docter from Pixar. He's done Up and he did Inside Out. And the way he described writing for animation is you write a joke and 4 years later people laugh at it. Like,
yeah.
There's a great YouTube channel. I didn't have a loot drop, but now I do. They're called the Royal Ocean Film Society, and they have a video called How Do You Edit an Animated Film? So I'm going to loot drop that. That answers a lot of questions.
Yeah. Just to say, if, like, Tari, if you're, like, new to this kind of stuff, I wouldn't worry particularly about, like, the difference between animation and live action, just as, like, what is it that makes a good story? Like, what makes characters feel good and stuff like that. That's the kind of stuff I'd concentrate on. And you can definitely learn a lot from even just cinematography channels. Like, I think, Niamh, you talked about
Folding Ideas.
Yeah. That's a good channel. Every Frame of Painting isn't necessarily about writing, but I think you can learn a lot from storytelling from that channel. And, just, a lot of people talk about this kind of media on YouTube and just find people whose methodologies or whose theories kind of click with you and follow them.
I think when you're a writer as well, when you're an artist, you have your portfolio of your physical work. Mm-hmm. It's harder as a writer to have a portfolio of, to get someone to read your feature length animated.
Or sample scripts like that.
Yeah.
It's daunting because it's not instantly yes or no, this is good or bad. Like, you really have to digest it.
So if you're, like, working on something and you really have a pet project, I would nearly recommend trying getting a short story out of it.
Yeah.
Like a short 12-minute thing versus feature, and getting a friend or commissioning some artist to do key art for it.
Yeah.
Like what you think this would look like.
Yeah. I regularly enough get, like, scripts from people kind of, like, asking me to review this or review that and stuff like that. And, like, they're not asking me to do a video on it. They just, like, want my opinion. And, like, I really appreciate that. And that's, like, it's really humbling that they would want me to do it. It's also, it can be practically impossible to find the time to do that stuff. So I think the more accessible you can make your story, the easier it can be for someone to read. That's a huge plus, because then people will actually be able to see it and give you a critique, as opposed to like, you know, if you get a document that's a couple of thousand words, like I wouldn't have time to read it, and I certainly wouldn't have time to like critique it properly. Mm-hmm. And so thinking in those kind of terms is good as well.
Because there is a script, but there's also a story treatment and synopsis. Mm-hmm. And that's just being able to describe your film in a sentence.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you're doing a synopsis, that's a paragraph.
Yeah.
Of the film.
Think about, like, when you're a writer for animation, you are one point on a long journey. So think about everyone down that pipeline, you know? Think about the storyboarder and what you're giving them.
Yeah. Make
it as easy as and digestible as possible for people to get into, so they will want to collaborate with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to loot drop an interview later, but the subject of the loot drop, it's about game design and not like storytelling, but I thought it was like really incredible advice. So maybe check out that later. What are your favorite recent non-Japanese, non-Disney Pixar animated TV shows or movies? Steven Universe Sleeps Out.
Yeah.
That's
sure.
That's fantastic.
It's kind of amazing.
Yeah. Yep. I thought the 3D animated kids summer blockbusters of 2016 were exceptional. I think back like 10 years ago when you just had Shrek sequels and that Zach Braff Chicken Little movie.
Oh, that's a bad movie.
And they're just shitty movies. I just really think they're really going for something now.
Yeah.
Like in a lot of different aspects of budgets and animation, from very, very cheap TV shows to, you know, hundreds of millions of dollars.
I think we're kind of seeing a bit of like maybe it's kind of over now, I'm not sure, but like I think we are seeing a bit of a golden age for animation again, because like even there's a lot of really high quality TV shows as well, like you know, you had Gravity Falls, you had Over the Garden Wall, Star vs. the Forces of Evil is pretty good. Like there's a lot of good non-Japanese, non-Disney Pixar stuff out there.
Yeah, as well, at the moment, Cartoon Network are doing like a changing of the guard with a lot of their shows, because Adventure Time's finishing up, so is regular show.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah.
But they've been announced 2 years in advance, but Cartoon Network are already announcing like what's coming out in a year or two. So people are going, oh, is this replacing regular show? And it's not necessarily replacing a specific show. This has happened countless times already at Cartoon Network. Mm. Like, when we watched Cartoon Network, it was Powerpuff Girls, Dexter's Lab, Samurai Jack.
And it's crazy that Jack's coming back. We never actually talked about that.
Oh, yeah.
That trailer looks fucking incredible.
I really think it's cool that they're doing it as an Adult Swim show, because that audience has grown up.
Yeah, like, and I saw actually people being like, oh, I hope they don't try and make it too edgy like they did with Ren and Stimpy or whatever. The amount of restraints that is shown in that show across all areas, I couldn't imagine that they're going to go nuts on blood and gore or anything.
No. But maybe there'll just be some tough decisions Jack will have that, like, a child wouldn't be able to understand.
Yeah. Is there a UK EU animation scene for up and coming animators / producers? Yeah. Like, I think if you want to work in the animation industry, there are jobs for you, for sure, no matter what you want to do. Yeah. I think it's a very competitive industry, and like getting your ideas made it's as tough here as it is anywhere else. You know, some people can do it, and there's a lot of different ways to do it. And what I'd say is, like, if you want to see your ideas get made, be prepared to do them yourself, or at least a part of them yourself.
In the UK, Manchester is very, very popular for TV animation production. London is VFX and also advertisements. Kind of very, very boutique studios doing specialized projects. Whereas up in Manchester, you know, they'd be doing 2 or 3 years of a 52 episode TV show.
Yeah.
But then in Ireland, animation's pretty popular in Ireland because of our tax breaks.
Yeah. Where
it's very, very, very cheap to make a movie in Ireland, and animation TV shows fall under that category.
Do we still have that artists don't pay tax thing?
Yeah, pretty much. But that's more for poets and painters. It's fucking weird. but Ireland's a weird location because we understand American humor and we speak the same language.
Yeah.
So we get a lot of American projects, like Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends was made in Ireland.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you wouldn't think it.
The first show, like, I think all of us worked on was set in an American high school.
Oh, yeah. Randy Cunningham.
Yeah. I drew so many American-style lockers, and I was like, do they have, like, is this what it's like?
Yeah. And I still don't know what year 9th grade is. Like, how old are you when you're in 9th grade? Because I
think that's third year in our...
Okay, so you're 15, 16.
Yeah, because, we go... No, because...
I think it's 14.
Yeah, I think it is. Because, the way Irish schools work is you have junior infants, senior infants, first class, second class, third class, fourth class, fifth class, sixth class. It's been a while.
Yeah.
And then you start again in secondary school. So your first year, second year, third year, fourth year, fifth year, sixth year. Then you're free. You're free to fuck up your life.
And the fifth year is optional in some schools.
Yeah.
No, the fourth year.
Is it fourth year?
Yeah, we have this year called transition year, which is basically like the fuck up year where you can just make as many mistakes as you want. And like,
you do work experience and you just do nothing.
I wasn't like my teenagehood was not especially eventful, but man, did I fuck up a lot in fourth year. It was great.
I skipped fourth year because I knew what I wanted to do in college when I was 15. So I was like determined to get to college when I was like 17.
I did all the really cliched, stupid things a teenager can do in fourth year. Not any year before or after, but fourth year was just layered with bad decisions and messy relationships. It was great.
So yeah, animation.
Animation's good, yeah, and enjoy. Tari, thanks so much for the email.
I love these questions.
Yep. So next we have Manly Sloth Man. Brian, why don't you take this?
Yeah, this is his actual name, Manly Sloth Man.
Like christened?
Oh yeah.
Whatever, however people get their names, I don't know.
Yeah. So he asked, just real quick, who are our favorite directors? Do you have any animation or art books that we'd like to recommend?
Oh, yeah.
So we'll start with the director stuff. He's asking... I'm really bad for remembering names and stuff. I really like Hideaki Anno.
Yeah. He did the Evangelion series. He did the new Godzilla movie. Mm-hmm. He did a live-action Cutie Honey at one point.
He sure did.
I was thinking about this because 3 of my favorite films are made by a particular director called Paul Verhoeven. He directed RoboCop, Showgirls, and Starship Troopers. And I love those 3 films so much.
Certainly, I think you got to see all 3 of them for it to make any sense.
Yeah, he also did Total Recall, and I love Total Recall, but it's not like in the trilogy.
No, it's not part of the canon.
No.
like that's not part of the cinematic universe.
Like Showgirls and Starship Troopers take place in the same world.
Yeah, and only 2 years apart as well. Things went so bad.
Yeah, like
I like a lot of David Fincher movies. Like I like really general directors that everyone knows about.
I like Justin Lin.
What's he done?
A lot of the Fast and the Furious movies.
Yeah, he's pretty cool.
But he's really good at doing ensemble casts.
Manly Slothman, I'm sorry if you're expecting like some really beautiful directors.
Martin Scorsese.
I fucking hate Martin Scorsese.
Yeah. Park Chan-wook is amazing.
Yeah, Park Chan-wook's fucking cool. I love Korean directors.
Did he do the revenge stuff?
Yeah, and he did.
He's really good.
And he did the new one as well. The Handmaiden.
Yeah. Keep me in to watch that.
It's fucking class.
I need to, because like Old Boy is like, it's one of my favorite movies ever.
It's so good.
Do you guys like Sympathy for Lady Vengeance?
Yeah.
I think I need to watch that again.
I haven't watched it since it came out. Because
I watched it and I was like, But then I think back to it, I remember all these cool bits. Yeah. Like when she fucks up the witch in prison.
I think it might be like in terms of Old Boy, but in terms of other films that exist, it's his own bar is high.
Put it like this, I didn't particularly enjoy it when I watch it, but I always think back to it and I'm like, man, nothing feels like that movie.
Did you watch, I'm a Cyborg, but that's okay?
No.
That's like a romantic comedy that he made, and it's kind of quirky. It's kind of like an Amelie. Like, I don't know if you'd like it, but like, cause it's got no fucked up creepy shit in it.
Yeah.
But it's just fucking weird. It's really, really goofy.
And I really, really like his cheeky bonus question, as he puts it. Do we have any animation art books that we like or would recommend? Boy, do we.
I think we all collect art books.
Yeah, I fucking love art books. I would say my favorite art book I own is there's a very expensive Art of Metal Gear Solid 1 art book. And it's really big and it's got these amazing see-through pages and it has all the concept sketches and it's fucking beautiful. And I bought it because, Twin Snakes for the GameCube, I beat that entire game in a day and it was midnight and I was like, I'm never going to be more into Metal Gear than I am right now. I should do something stupid. And I bought that stupid expensive book and I love it.
Fuck yeah.
Yep.
My most treasured art books are for the One Piece movies that I have.
The One Piece Strong World art book you showed me.
Yeah.
Not a great movie. Fucking amazing art book.
Yeah, it's just all pencil tests from Oda of just character designs. But then I have another one that's for One Piece Movie 6, and it's super rare. My girlfriend got it for me. And Sushio, who's the designer at Trigger, so he would have designed the characters in Kill la Kill, and I think some characters in Digimon as well.
He did the design for One Piece Movie 6.
Yeah.
That makes so much sense.
But then, so he did this, but this is a book that's like full of pencil tests. And then, the main director from Trigger, Imaishi, he's got like pencil tests in it. Actually, the groundwork books of Gainax shows are really good. Cool. So there's groundworks of Evangelion, groundworks of Gurren Lagann, Pantheon Stocking. They're all just pencil tests.
There's a really nice Pantheon Stocking art book as well.
Oh yeah, there is. Down City Paparazzi.
Yeah, that's the one.
That's really good.
One of my favorite ones that I always go back to is DreamWorks Kung Fu Panda one.
I have that right over there.
It is one of the
such
nicest
a good one.
art books. Yeah. Like Pixar and DreamWorks do like a whole range of art books, and they're kind of hit or miss depending on which movie it is. But the DreamWorks one, really high standards. Love the Kung Fu Panda. Love How to Train Your Pet Dragon. Really nice drawings in that.
I know there's people who aren't especially into Kung Fu Panda. I think that's a great movie, but that art book is like unquestionably one of the best.
Amazing.
The most recent one I can think of is Moana's art of book is really, really good. Mm-hmm. Okay. It's really, really, really good for backgrounds and locations.
Yeah.
If you want animals, go for Kung Fu Panda or Rio. The one with the Rio pirates. That's a gorgeous book.
Yeah, like even the trailers. Like I'm not interested in seeing it, but that's a good looking movie.
And then what else? There's so many good ones. Oh. Episode 1, 2, and 3 of Star Wars, the concept art books of those are amazing. Like, those films, whatever you want to say about them, they are dense with design. Yeah. So there's like total, like, crazy alien races that have never been in the movies that have just like full, like 2-page spreads fleshed out. Like, there's a lemur monkey race, alien race that look amazing in the 3rd book, I think. So they're really good concept art books. Cool. The Art of Halo books are always really beautiful as well.
I also picked up the Undertale art book at Magfest and it's really good.
Do you want to show it to us?
Nope.
Pixel art book?
It's not pixel. It has all the like awesome sketches and really beautiful concept work. It's I'm going to show it to you and you'll be like, oh, this is actually nice.
Okay.
Because that's what you sound like.
I think what we're going to do is like maybe put up 1 or 2 photos of some books that we like on the Instagram.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, I like that idea.
So there's ones I can't name off the top of my head that I'm sure I have that I really like.
We have to go to our bookcases and consult our previous purchases.
You know what? Let's just throw up top 3 art books from each of us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
That was a great question. Thank you so much, Manly Slothman. Then we have Eric Poladin. Yep. Dear Super Best Fight a Boss Cast. I see what you did there. I am a newer. Is that a word? Newer?
It is now.
Cool. American fan of the show, and I'm planning on studying abroad in Dublin. Ireland of all places.
Dublin, Ireland.
I'm doing so through a cool summer program my college is offering for 3rd year students. It will help clear up some credits and blah, blah, blah. Man, I don't know how the college credit system works at all in America.
We went to art college, so we have no idea how real life works.
Yeah, they shit out whatever useless person comes in, they will let you out.
Yeah. He's on Erasmus. That's what it sounds like.
It will help. My question is, do you 3 have any recommendations of things I should do to prepare for this? Are there any sorts of cool places or summer events worth checking out for America? Hope to hear back and keep up the great show, you weebs. Now, in fairness, Eric, I am the only true weeb here.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah. Also, I am sure you aren't familiar with every part of Dublin, But if you know anything worth travelling for the weekend or anything cool around the University College of Dublin, that's UCD, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Eric, my advice is that if you are coming to Ireland, first of all, get those expectations super, super low. Okay, no, I'm only joking.
Eric, make sure you have a student ID and make sure it's like an Irish student ID with your face on it.
Yeah.
Because you want student discounts on your burritos, your chicken rolls.
They'll give you student discounts like everywhere.
You usually get 10% off in a lot of clothes shops, or like if you're buying shoes and shoe.
Yeah. Dublin's more expensive than you think it is.
Yeah,
it is an
Dublin
expensive
is
city.
Whenever I go anywhere that's meant to be like, you know, globally known as quite expensive, I'm always like, this is as expensive as Dublin. Like, it doesn't seem expensive to me.
Yeah, the rent is going to be really, really tough.
If he's going on Erasmus, they'll probably have somewhere for him.
Yeah, hopefully you do have accommodation sorted in advance, because they do take advantage of students.
If you don't, get cracking on that now, because the rent situation in Dublin is a like living nightmare. In terms of like cool places to go, I got a few. I think so. You listen to this podcast and you have a Jotaro Kujo thumbnail picture, so you're probably kind of a nerd. And so I would say there's a really, really cool video game shop called The Rage that me and Bryan frequent quite a lot. And it sells like old retro video games, and even like, it's all going to be PAL, so maybe it's not going to be that useful to you, but even just go and look at the weird ass covers to a lot of these. They're so cool, and they're so of an era, and they're so strange that I think that's definitely worth seeing.
Yeah.
The city is going to be dug up. There's been roadworks for the last 3 years.
They're building a cross-city extension to our tram network that was like built 10 years ago.
But you can walk everywhere in Dublin.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
Dublin is like, walk. That's what I think a good idea is, like, walk around the city. It'll start becoming really small really quickly.
Yeah.
You'll start recognizing everything.
Yeah.
Food-wise, is there any good food places?
Check out Supermax. Good stuff.
Don't check out Supermax. Supermax. I actually told a bunch of American artists at MagFest about Supermax, and their mind was fucking blown. There's an Irish, like, McDonald's rip-off.
It's not a McDonald's rip-off. It's its own thing.
Bryan, open your eyes.
McDonald's is...
It's literally called Supermax.
But that's because McDonald's is a popular Irish surname.
Or it's because it's a popular fucking restaurant.
Or it could be McDonough. I don't know. You never know.
It's called Supermax, and it sells shitty burgers.
And really, really good fried chicken. And amazing ice cream and fudge brownies.
And good sausages. Like, I don't think you can get those in other...
No, probably not.
I don't know.
Go, like I really,
don't
really
go to Supermax.
I recommend going to Chippers, get fish and chips.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Fish and chips. Any good chippers around the city centre? There's that one. Burdocks, is that one?
Leo Burdocks.
Yeah.
That's famous.
That's pretty famous. There used to be one near the food court, but that got shut down.
Yeah.
There's one in Temple Bar. Like, yeah, check out Temple Bar, but like, it's just full of cobbly streets.
Yeah. If you're not doing anything for the rest of the day, what's the chicken place?
Which one?
The chicken place we went and we were like, that was delicious. We're never going there again.
Crackbird?
Crackbird.
Yeah.
Crackbird is like gourmet fried chicken, but you have to cancel all your plans for the evening.
Yeah, you're not going to do anything.
Because your body's going to be like, we have to lie down now. If you're going to sit down on a park bench, the parks are fine. The river is fucking freezing cold. Like, there are loads of benches there, but it's windy as fuck. I recommend Trinity College just because it's such a public space anyway.
Yeah.
But there's loads of benches there just to chill and meet up with friends there.
Yeah, and this is kind of universal for all cities, but I guess know where you're going because there's some maybe not great spots in Dublin also. And I think Dublin's a kind of weird city because you can be on a really nice, happy street, and then if you make like one wrong turn, it can be quite an unfriendly street.
Yes.
Yes.
There are streets with like needles.
Yeah.
Bring in like a raincoat. I mean, you will need it.
Yeah, it rains all the time here.
Guys, he's trying to have a good time. Why he's got to be such squares?
Wear a t-shirt then. I don't know.
Anywhere else? Oh, you know, one place that I actually really like is the liquor rooms. If you want a quiet place to have a drink where there's like no TV sets or anything, the liquor rooms, it's on the Quays. That will make sense when you get here. And that is a really, really nice place to go.
Unfortunately, there are no arcades in Dublin.
There's Dr. Quirky's.
But that's slot machines.
Yeah.
I think that's gambling now.
Yeah, I think there's like some racing machines there still, and that's it.
Yeah.
Enjoy Ireland for what it is. It's going to be quieter than you're used to, I guess. I don't know where you're from.
Oh, you know what? Get out to the if you want like a weekend visit,
Yeah.
get out to the west of Ireland.
Yeah, do. I recommend like County Kerry or County Cork. I'm from Kinsale, which is a seaside town in Cork. That's full of tourists. They love it there. So I'm sure
I would say it's even worth seeing just for the train journey. Like, the rolling hills are lovely.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
Ireland's a pretty place.
Let us know how you get on. I'd be curious to see what you think.
Yeah, send us a mail closer to when it's happening.
Yeah, totally. Next we have from Roberto.
Yes.
And, actually I haven't looked at this yet. Niamh, do you want to read this one out?
Okay. Hi guys, after seeing the reveal of live-action Koichi and Yukiko, this is from part 4, JoJo's,
The live action adaptation.
and realizing how many live-action adaptation of manga, anime, and video games are being developed, I was wondering what are your favourite live-action adaptations? Is there any manga, anime, or video game you would like to see jump to live action? Thanks for the awesome show, Ra.
The first one this made me think of is the Phoenix Wright movie.
That's the good one.
That's also directed by Takeshi Miike, who's handling the live action part 4, which is pretty cool. I thought that was 100% accurate. Mm-hmm. I really, really, really love that. I think the interpretations they have of the part 4 characters look great. I love Josuke's design. And I like Ikako. I think her skirt could be shorter to make her legs look longer because she's such a parallel
Anyway,
to
we're going to
Koichi.
move on because Brian's getting a bit saucy here.
Koichi's supposed to be super small, so if they kind of like make her costume look like she's taller than him in any way, I think that worked. The actress, John, I think your mind's going to weird places.
Sorry, Brian, I'm being an asshole.
And then Koichi, we were saying before that they put the crotch in his pants down real low, so he's like stubby legs.
I think they both look pretty great, I gotta say.
The costuming is so good. Like, this isn't like bad cosplay. This looks like people are wearing, like, this is nice clothes.
Yeah.
I think it's going to come out and it's going to be super low budget feeling.
I bet the stands are going to look like shit.
It's Japanese television.
Yeah.
But, the Phoenix Wright movie, I still have not watched it. I know it comes up for us every couple of months. But I remember watching the first 10 minutes and being like, this is awesome. I need to put some proper time aside and watch this. And now it's 6 years later.
For fuck's sake.
In terms of live action stuff, like, I have no hopes for any live action stuff ever. Like, my bar is so low that I'm not upset. Like, I watched Dragon Ball Evolution and I was like, yeah, alright, whatever.
I don't think there's a point in getting upset. Like, adaptation is cool because it's a different look at something that exists. And you should take it for that and never for replacing
I think the Super Mario live action movie is incredible. Like, what a weird fucking thing.
I didn't have one that's so boring.
Yeah, but it's so weird.
Yeah, it is.
Bowser, what the hell?
I really love the Resident Evil movies, as we know.
I think I gotta look at them.
It's a good time. Like, seriously, if you want a really stress-free Saturday where you're just going to laugh your ass off, watch the Resident Evil movies. Just do it.
All of them?
All of them. They're all
14
good.
hours of them.
Yeah.
I really, really like
time.
the Jean-Claude Van Damme Street Fighter.
Oh my god, I love that movie. I love that movie so much.
That's such a cool...
That's Kylie Minogue as Sonya Blade in it as well, isn't it?
She plays Cammy.
Oh, okay.
Sonya fucking Blade, Niamh.
I don't know.
And it's got Raul Julia, who played Gomez Adams. He was M. Bison in it.
Did he die after that movie?
He died I think he died before the film came out, but he shot all the scenes. It was around the same time because it was the mid-90s.
Yeah.
He's fantastic in that.
Yeah.
But back to like the live action JoJo, I'm real curious to see what they do with Okuyasu because he's got the X scar across his face, like, and he's always kind of like ghoulish looking.
Yeah, I think they'll just make him a cute boy with a scar. I met an amazing Okuyasu cosplayer at MagFest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And did he do the hands in the pockets and have awful posture? If he was, really...
If he was doing a photo, yeah. We hung out. It was cool.
That's pretty cool.
The Silent Hill movie as well.
Oh my god.
That's pretty good.
I totally forgot about that. I think the first one's fine. I think the second one gets really insane.
Yeah.
And in a way that I love.
Pyramid Head turns into a good guy.
Oh, wait, did I ever tell this story? So me and Michelle went to see Silent Hill Revelations on my birthday. And I've done a video on the Silent Hill series. The Silent Hill series really, really means a lot to me. And we were walking into the cinema and I turned around to her and I just said, look, as long as they don't make Pyramid Head a good guy, I'll be okay. And then, 80 minutes into that movie, I watched with tears streaming down my face as Pyramid Head defended our heroes against a monster.
That makes no sense.
The monster is Carrie-Anne Moss, who played Trinity. She's the bad guy in it, but it doesn't look like her because it looks crap.
Oh, I love that film though. It's so fucking weird. Remember the bit
the bit on the carousel at the theme park?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh no, I really want to tell this bit because the way it happened was it's John the next day telling me this. He's like, Brian, there's a bit where they're on a horse carousel and the horses are on the poles going up and down, but then the girl looks down and it's actually turned into an S&M bondage leather guy, and he turns up to the girl and goes, why the fuck would that be? That's not...
It's a really good movie. It was a good birthday, actually.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, John.
Your poor girlfriend.
Oh, that long-suffering, lovely woman. And finally, we have so
we've got two quick questions. There's one more email, and then there's one more tweet that we can.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just
these roll into the one.
Is there anything you guys would like to see as a live action?
Oh yeah, sorry.
Metal Gear Solid would be a hell of a thing.
Yeah.
I don't think it'd be good, but what the fuck is that gonna look like?
Off the top of my head, I'd love to see what a live action No More Heroes would look like.
Well, yeah. I was gonna say King of Fighters, but they actually did do that.
Yeah.
And you know Yuri, the main King of Fighters guy with the red hair? Mm-hmm. They changed him into a hockey player.
Sure. Hockey's cool.
Just like the game.
That I was most insulted was the Tekken movie, and they give Kazuya the little snake hair and 2 axes.
Yes,
so upsetting.
Actually, the Tekken movie,
I think I tried to watch that once. It looked like shitty cosplay.
Yeah. I felt like that was just kind of boring. I wish they had gone zanier with it.
There's a Japanese kind of Tekken movie, I think it's Fist of Vengeance or something, where they originally had the rights to do a Tekken movie. They were taken away, but they didn't change any of the costumes, so it's just Horong and
really?
Jin just in the movie.
The live action Tekken movie had a pretty okay Bryan Fury lookalike.
Yeah. It was good.
I remember messaging one of my friends and being like, I'm watching the Tekken movie and I'm watching Jin Kazama and Christy Montiero grind on the dance floor. This is everything. This is everything I dreamed.
Nice.
I'd really like to see, I'm looking forward to the new Tomb Raider movie. That's my biggest.
It's got,
see where that goes.
Alicia Vikander.
Mm-hmm. She was great.
She's currently dating Michael Fassbender.
Oof. And
he was, and he was
Wait, hang on. Niamh, do you want to elaborate on that?
I mean, no.
Magneto. But also he was in Assassin's Creed. So technically Lara Croft is dating Ezio or whatever.
Oh no.
I hate that. That makes me angry.
Isn't that stupid? Because somewhere someone has drawn them in their costumes doing that.
Yep.
All I can think of now is No More Heroes movie.
Wouldn't that be great?
That would be incredible. The dream isn't dead. No More Heroes 3 is happening.
Yeah.
So who knows? Okay, which of these questions will we take next?
Just about the older podcast episodes.
Okay, so...
This is from Marco.
As you may have noticed, our most recent episode is episode 31, and we got an email from Marco asking, where can you get the older podcasts? I only see up to 31. Is this some type of inside joke? Yes. You started from 31? Yes, absolutely. There's no podcast that exists before 31. We were just like, lads, it'd be fucking gas if instead of 1, we started at 31. And it has been really funny.
Yeah. The reason why they're not there is... So they do actually exist. I was being facetious. And
We actually give this question a full answer, I think, at the end of episode 38. The Blast of Us, I think that episode's called. And essentially what it was like, when we started this podcast before I had a YouTube channel. And so we now have like a lot more listeners than we ever thought we would. And we really appreciate that a lot. But there was also stuff in the earlier podcast when we were just making the podcast for like our immediate group of friends. And so like there's a lot of people's second names and personal information and just information about us and our girlfriends that we thought maybe it wasn't the absolute best to have out there. There were also quality control issues as well. Like the mic wasn't great and yeah.
It sounded like shit.
Yeah, trust me, you're not missing that much with it. Start from episode 31. We promise we won't reference any lore before that. But if you want a full explanation, just listen to episode 38, the email section.
Okay, and then, because this is the most fucking controversial thing ever.
Well, you see, we went to the biggest explanation of this in an older episode that now doesn't exist.
Yeah, in fairness, we do owe this to him because this is lost lore.
Okay, so Zachary asked, could we elaborate on why we don't like Firewatch?
Because we all don't like Firewatch.
Yeah. This was... So, the first one who played it was Bryan, I think.
And it came out exactly a year ago.
Yeah.
So, to celebrate the 1 year anniversary of Firewatch, here's why we don't like Firewatch.
So, I think Firewatch is a beautiful game to look at, but that was one of those games where I just felt like, man, I don't even know how to put it. One of you guys go first. I need to think this over.
Okay. When I started that game, I was really excited. I really liked the opening bit where it kind of gives you questions and answers and develops the past relationship between Henry and his wife.
That bit was awesome.
That was really good. It opens up. It's beautiful looking. It's the art direction by Ollie Moss rendered in real time. And it just starts going downhill very quickly narratively. And this game is a narrative game. That's a story-driven game.
Yeah, absolutely.
The story was awful, like really bad. And I felt they cut corners in parts of the gameplay stuff to justify bad story, red herrings, and kind of... It never grabbed me. I was really annoyed by the no Delilah reveal at the end. And I honestly think the reason they didn't do a Delilah reveal was because they didn't want to make a model for her.
For sure.
Like, that's it.
I really, really liked the middle of that game. I thought, like, for me, I had all these ideas of, like, how about if this is what's going on? Maybe this is happening. And you get hit over the head and you get knocked out for a few hours.
Best bit of the game.
Yeah, that bit was fantastic. That bit, but then later on, the logic of why that happened is fucking stupid. Mm-hmm. I really, really feel like that film dropped an IQ of about 50 at the end. Or that game. It just stopped. It fell apart narratively.
So I think, like, I have a really terrible sense of direction. I have real trouble orientating myself in 3D spaces. And so that game was not an enjoyable experience for me, mainly because of that. But I would have gladly gritted my teeth and gone through that if I felt like the narrative or story was worth it or if it spoke to me in any way. And I just feel like it didn't. And like, we have gotten emails in the past kind of explaining how, the whole point of it is that Henry's trying to escape this thing from his past and Delilah's also trying to escape. So maybe they make a bigger deal out of this whole thing than they should. And I think that's interesting, but it did not hit me like that when I was playing it. It just felt like a small studio who had maybe rewrote their game a bunch of times and needed to rewrite it a bunch of times more before that story started working. And it just didn't click. I
had a lot of glitches as well. Yeah. Like, it was kind of broken when it first came out. The frame rate was stuttery and garbage.
Your compass turned into a rock?
Yeah, for half the game, my hand was merged with a rock, so I couldn't use my compass or pick things up, and it killed the immersion, I must say. But there was loads of other little things that killed immersion. I mentioned it last time, the ability to pick up and look at objects, and how there's no way to put them down, so you end up just fucking your wedding band across the table or a photo of you together, like, on the floor, because they haven't thought about, oh, you've picked it up, you've examined it, now you want to put it down. They just didn't. Why? That part wasn't there.
Yeah.
It was a step missed.
And, like, it's an unusual one because I'm aware, like, the three of us individual take on Firewatch is the most negative I've ever heard any group of people talk about it. Mm-hmm. And I totally accept that people really like that game. It was a lot of Game of the Year lists. And it is so rare that the three of us all agree on anything. But just one of the things we happen to like agree on is that we just don't like Firewatch.
Yep.
So yeah, there it is.
Sorry.
Don't apologize.
Yeah, not
Wait
sorry.
for them to apologize.
Not sorry. But I'm looking forward to what they make next.
Yeah, I think they're an interesting studio. I mean, I'll give them another shot, especially if whatever they make looks interesting. It's their first game, so yeah. Guys, if you want to email us, you can email us at askletsfightaboss@gmail.com. What's that, Brian?
askletsfightaboss@gmail.com.
And you can also reach us on Twitter at Let's Fight a Boss. And send us any old junk. We'll answer your questions about video games, staying in Dublin, life advice. We are also a life advice podcast, but we've never got to stretch those muscles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm sure we could.
We're all very clever.
Your spooky stories.
Oh, sure. Man. I was really liking when we kind of turned into the Let's Fight a Ghost cast there for a while. That was fun.
Well, maybe there'll be some springtime ghosts happening.
Yeah.
If you know anything about ghosts, you can tell us about the ghosts.
Do you guys ever think of stories and you're like, man, I'd love to tell it on the Boss cast, but I don't know how to fit it in.
There's no way to, yeah.
You know my Magfest before last story. Another day.
I think you have to tell that story.
Someday.
Like the whole thing.
Yeah.
No, but you know how it's got a prologue as well from a different country.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we might do episodes.
Yeah.
Joho's Bizarre Adventure. The whole saga.
Fuck that.
Anyway, so yeah, look, email us, askletsfightaboss@gmail.com or find us on Twitter at Let's Fight a Boss. We're happy to get any questions you want to send. And so I guess we're going to do our loot drop now.
Yep.
And then do a quick Resident Evil spoiler cast.
Mm-hmm. That's the way to do it. John, you actually have one written down here.
Yes, I do. So this was a interview that was recently uploaded, not to the main Giant Bomb podcast channel, but to the Giant Bomb Presents channel. And it's Jeff Gersman talking to an old friend of his, who is an old game developer who now works on the game World of Tanks. But he had this kind of like mythical-ish story about the development of Star Fox and how I think it was either a UK or American studio who had developed this 3D chip for the Super Nintendo. And they were so pumped about this and they wanted to make this massive space exploration game. They wanted to make like, the No Man's Sky of their time. That's what they wanted to make.
Wow.
And so they sent off a demo to Miyamoto and they said they were all gathered around the fax machine waiting for his response because they thought he's going to be fucking mind blown. This is going to change everything. Every Super Nintendo game after this is going to be this. And so they're all waiting for his response and they're there just waiting because this is a massive deal to them. Miyamoto's like a legend. The next thing, a fax starts coming through. And keep in mind, all it was at this point was a space exploration game, nothing else. And the fax comes through, and all it is a tiny, shitty little drawing of a frog. And they're all like, what the fuck is this?
Slippy.
Then they wait an hour, they don't know what to make of it, they send him a fax being like, did you like it? Hour goes by, another one arrives. This time it's a rabbit.
Happy.
And then the final message they get, at least for the part of the story I'm going to tell, is they get one last message and it just says, I don't know what to do. That's not the end of the story. The rest of it is equally amazing and it ends with actually one of the most poignant and best lessons I think any creative person should hear. It's really, really good. So I'm going to link the podcast. I'll timestamp for when it starts because it's quite a long interview. It is good, but if people just want to listen to this it's fantastic. So that is my loot drop for the week.
Sweet. I already mentioned it. The Royal Ocean Film Society, their video on editing and animation. I'm going to loot drop that. I think everyone should give this a watch.
So I really like K-pop.
Guys, it's been fantastic talking to you all. We're going to be back next 2 weeks with another episode going.
No, K-pop's the best.
So, Vin Diesel's new film.
Guys,
Triple X. He has
I can't believe he's back as Triple X.
Yeah, Xander. Is Xander Cage his name?
Yeah.
Pretty sure. Anyway, Xander's back and he has a new little DJ friend, which is a guy called Kris, who was in the K-pop group EXO. And he now has a song since he's left the K-pop group that features Vin Diesel in the video. And it's in the movie, and he is also in the movie. I'm linking you that music video. It's called Juice. It's really good.
Niamh, that sounds just terrific, Brian. We can edit that out, right?
No.
Maybe I'll just play it at the end of this podcast.
She can do whatever she wants.
Yeah, she can.
This is the official K-pop podcast of Ireland now.
Yeah. I bet there is a K-pop podcast of Ireland.
There's a K-pop meetup in Ireland.
I know, yeah. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. We are going to be doing our Resident Evil spoiler cast in T-minus 20 seconds. But if you don't want to hear that, if you don't want to hang around, thanks so much for joining us, guys, and we will see you next time.
Goodbye, everyone who's leaving now. So, to talk about the greatest video game ever made.
Okay, so we're about to get real about Resident Evil 7.
We're going to spoil the shit out of this.
Spoil the fucking... all the revelations, all the dark secrets. Motherfucker, you better get ready because they're all coming up right now. I don't know if there's anything in this game to spoil.
There is loads to spoil.
The old lady in the wheelchair was...
No, that's like the last thing.
That's a spoiler right there.
Yeah, I know, but that's like build up.
No, let's just fucking drop it right now.
Oh my god. I'm shocked.
Okay, so that game makes you think it's about hillbillies in a house.
Yes.
And it is. And it is.
My spooky hillbilly wrestler won the title.
Oh.
Yeah?
I'm so happy Bray Wyatt's doing it. Who's ever editing that podcast, just edit it back into...
I'm not going to do that.
No, hang on. I'll make it super easy for you. Just edit it back into earlier on in the podcast, okay? I'll give you some sound bites. You know, Niamh, now that you say that, it makes me think of wrestling. In fact, Bray Wyatt won the title in WWE recently. That's fascinating. Anyway, back to what we were talking about. So there you go. There's a clean soundbite. You can edit that cool. Back in. Perfect.
Yeah, this is how we do the podcast, everyone.
Peek behind the curtain.
Okay, so Niamh, I feel like you're the most positive on Resident Evil 7.
I'm pretty positive about it.
It's weird because I'm not. Okay, I think you can break this game into parts, and I think that's how we should talk about it.
Yeah.
So first part is the house with Jack.
Yeah.
Second part, house Marguerite.
Yeah.
Third part, Lucas and his fun home.
Yeah.
Fourth part, ship.
Yeah, the tanker.
Future past tanker. And then last part is mine.
Yeah. I think 2 of those zones are good.
Only 2.
I think obviously the first part, fucking awesome. Mm-hmm. Then the third part with the brother and his games, quite a lot of fun.
Yeah, I thought that was really good, and how they kind of hint at it in advance with the VHS tape.
Yeah, I thought that was really, really cool.
I guess we should open up with what the narrative is. So you start the game and you get an emailed video clip from your girlfriend, Mia, who's been missing for 3 years. Mm-hmm. And in the video clip, she's like, I can't wait to see you, baby. I love you. It's
goddamn amazing facial animation in that video.
Yeah.
But she's doing this babysitting job.
She's like, I fucking hate this babysitting job. Can't wait to see you. And then seemingly after that, she goes missing for 3 years. Another email comes in, and this is where I'm a bit confused, because he says in the email that she says to come get her on the phone call to her friend. He's in the car afterwards.
Really?
Yeah.
And he was just like, oh, she said to come get me. I don't know if he was just lying to a friend, because in the actual video,
she's like, stay away.
Stay away, Ethan.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, stay away.
So you're playing as Ethan, and you're in first person. I think you get to see his face once. He's just blonde man.
Do you? When do you get to see his face? I never got that. Or at least I didn't notice.
I don't think you do. I think you might have.
Okay, I think I saw his face on the wiki.
Oh,
because there's some shitty render of his face.
That's interesting, because I was wondering about that. So you arrive as Ethan to the outbacks of Louisiana. and there's a hillbilly house.
Yeah, but it's like a big plantation house.
Yeah.
Like it was obviously like a very regarded family at one point that are now just simple folks.
Yeah.
And they throw you some red herrings straight away. Like in that house, there's kids' room and there's an old photograph of a mother and a father and 2 children. So you're kind of assuming that this little girl that you hear mentioned is a child of the Baker family.
Yeah, they keep mentioning like, stay away from her or she's upstairs, stuff like that.
You find a little girl's shoe. You find like just
There's dolls.
evidence, dolls around. You find evidence of a little girl. So like the first part, you're in that house, and that's when Jack is chasing you.
Yeah. And that's me, best part of the game. I loved it. And I loved the scare of Jack coming through the wall, because I felt like it just, like it was, it was a good jump scare and all that, like it was well set up, but it also kind of creates this moment where it's like, he knows this house better than you, because he lives here. You're on his turf. These are his terms. And I thought that was really frightening.
Did you let that bit play out and he catches you and he chops off your leg with the shovel?
No.
Okay, so this is so fucked up. This happened to me, and so he smashes through the wall, and I was trying to get to the padlock cellar door that you're supposed to crawl through.
Yeah.
But he grabbed me, and it plays out a cutscene where he throws you on the ground and he chops off one of your legs with the shovel. And then he goes, "Want to see something cool, boy?" And he throws you a healing potion, and he pours it on your leg, and your leg just seals back together.
Oh my
I
God.
didn't see
I
that.
didn't get that at all.
And Ethan's like, "What the fuck?" But that's why the healing potions make all your wounds disappear. It's just, it's magic. It's like this weird virus potion.
In like when you're in the tankard, you read about the virus, and the first sign of you having the virus is your limbs starting to regenerate. So when you first meet Mia, she freaks out and she goes evil Mia, and she uses a chainsaw to cut off your hand.
Yeah.
Then later it's stapled to your like wrist, and you're like, how has he movement in that? And it's like, the obvious guess is that Ethan is infected like everyone else is with the mold virus.
Yeah.
And that's what is connecting them, and like I guess the healing stuff is just
The healing thing is using cells from that, because you see a lot of lab stuff later on, and like way later in the game, that I guess explains it, that they're just extracting the good parts. So it's just a simple magic healing potion. But that's what Ethan's using to recover health wise.
That's cool. I wish I saw that, to be honest.
It was really fucking weird.
I'm kind of amazed that like 1 out of 3 of us saw it, because I remember there was another bit, and it was with one of the molded, and the molded cut off my leg.
Yeah.
And I picked back up my leg as an item in my inventory.
Yep.
What?
That also happened to me.
But then I died straight away.
Yeah.
Oh my God, no! I've never had my leg amputated in the entire thing. I feel cheated.
It's like a weird mechanic that's not in there.
So the first fight you get with Jack is in the garage.
Yeah, that's the boss. Yeah.
That fight is fucking.
So I loved that because it felt like a backyard wrestling match.
Just this tight. But before that, when you meet the cop and he won't give you the gun, and he's like, "Just give me the fucking gun," and he's like, "I'll give you a knife," and he gives you the knife, and that's your first weapon in the game. And then you meet him around the corner by the garage, and he's talking to you, and then all of a sudden his head just slices, and Jack turns around and goes, "You're next, boy."
Jack was so scary because all he was just angry dad.
Yeah, he's the angriest dad.
He's just topless or like in a tank top, and there's just something so visceral about him, like marching after you. Yeah. I was really terrified when he was chasing me.
He was really scary. He was really a great villain, you know? In a way, like, I feel that a lot of the sci-fi, more kind of sci-fi stuff pulled away. Like, I would have been fine with leaving him ambiguous. I would have been fine with actually leaving them all ambiguous, because I just feel like the idea that you're trapped somewhere like that with just this group of people who are all really bad. Have you read Preacher?
No.
It's definitely got Preacher vibes.
There's like in the second volume of Preacher, like I think it's like 7 or 8 issues in.
Oh, Custer's grandma.
Yeah, the main character's like grandma comes back into it, and she kind of has these hillbillies that do her bidding, and the way they kind of capture the main character and his girlfriend is like really just like realistic and kind of frightening, and the way they keep them on the farm is really believable as well. And it's really horrifying because you're like, someone could do this, like someone could capture me this way. And I felt like that's what it was at the start, and it really got to me. I was like, this is really disturbing. But then it was like, no, we're all this fucking slug girl. It was just like, oh, okay.
We're all a hive mind.
Yeah. See, I'm into that because of the lore of Resident Evil.
It definitely fits in with the virus stuff for sure.
Oh, it's not out of tone with Resident Evil at all. Like, not one bit. But I think I don't think those are the strongest parts of Resident Evil.
No, I think you were right, because when you first go down to the basement, there's incinerated bodies, there's cells, and you're like, what are these people doing? Yeah. There's like these weird blobs of flesh on operating tables. And like the mystery is just like open. And then later on, the mystery does boil down to, there was a girl, she was infected with the virus, and she took over this family.
Yeah.
And her goal was to make her own family.
Yeah.
And kind of just have people around her. And that's why they were kidnapping people. And the mystery, like, all the horror, all the kind of really true scariness of that kind of goes out the window then with that.
Yeah. And I felt like a lot of the just design went out of it. Like, at that point, I just feel like the connection between environment and enemy just became nothing.
You stop seeing new characters until the very end of the game. But towards the end, you stop seeing new characters.
Yeah. And I was really disappointed. And I especially felt like there's a part in the game when you're on a ship and you're being haunted by a scary little girl with black hair. And I was like, is this like 2003?
John, you need to watch the films. It's the Red Queen.
Okay, Niamh.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, it all calls back to it.
I've put up with a lot of your shit this evening. And that is not fucking Resident Evil.
All throughout all the films, there's a little girl called the Red Queen.
Oh my god.
Who's digitally put into the hive, under Bella's hive.
Yep.
And she goes rogue. So, like, you learn, and I think it's the second one, or the extinction, maybe? Or maybe it's the first one.
It's that, the daughter of one of the technicians.
It's the daughter of Dr. Isaacs. She's dying from a wasting disease. And he starts injecting her with the virus. That's how... The first film is a prequel to all Resident Evil.
It's the fucking girl from The Ring!
No, it's the Red Queen, John.
No, it's a scary girl with black hair, and it's like, oh wow, the millionth one of these.
It's a pretty popular cliche.
Yeah, it's a super popular.
And like,
cliche,
look, if you want to say that it ties into the movies, then that makes the movies better, not the game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, the game will pull the movies up. The movies do not pull the game up because that's not how physics work.
I agree with that, but I never had any issue with the girl because, like, when I saw Evelyn, I was like, oh, she's like the girl from movies.
But, like, okay, the fear you felt when Jack was chasing you through the house, do you really equate that emotion with being like, oh, a cool movie reference?
No, I don't. And that's like, I think you're completely right. The strongest part of the game is the first part with Jack because that felt new, intense, and scary. Like, when that boss fight, what you have to do is get in the car and run him over in a very small space while there's fire.
He was fucking beautiful.
Okay, that can actually play out two ways, because what he can do as well is he can take the keys off and he goes, I'm dropping, boy. And he gets in the car and he chases you around the garage.
Yeah, that happened to me.
It plays out two different ways, but what happens is if you're driving is you'll run him down a bunch of times and then you can't find him anywhere. And then all of a sudden he peels off the roof of the car.
I think all these things happened to me in the one fight.
Yeah, it's so good how it all kind of
super
ends.
Tense.
And the way he drives you into the beam that's like falling down.
See, maybe this is unreasonable, but I wanted a game of that.
But then you fight him again where he's got the double chainsaw scissors. Yeah. And that fight isn't as good.
It's not. It's still fine.
Yeah,
but it's much more typical.
Do you think it was all just going to play out that way anyway? Like, even if they continued down that route, like, was it ever going to be as good as the first few moments with Jack?
I felt like all the encounters with Jack, they all play off this thing where it's like you, him, and the environment, and that was what made them great. That like triangle of aspects. And I felt like they didn't do it anymore. And I'm sure they could have done more stuff like that, you know? And like, could they got an entire game out of you and Jack? Probably not. Does that mean they had to phone it in the way they did? really don't think so.
Yeah, because then you get to the second
You don't
house.
think they did?
I think they did, but I don't think in any way we're not used to.
Yeah.
But is that not the most depressing thought in the world?
I love Resident Evil.
But like look,
it's just Resident Evil.
I know, but like, I'm like, maybe I'm expecting too much of this, but also I bought this game brand new and it cost me the better part of €100. They should have their fucking shit together, you know? Like, I feel like more and more often lately, not us three, but everyone is willing to be like, look, you know, I mean, it's still pretty good. Like, you know, the bit in the caves is still pretty good. Final Fantasy 15, well, I like driving around with my buddies. And let's not get into it. But, you know, like,
that game's not worth the money for sure.
Yeah, I don't think Resident Evil 7 is worth $70, €70.
And I got a loan of yours, which was cool. Like, I didn't have to pay for it, but I do have to return to ASAP.
Yeah, it's like, it is a high buy-in for it.
I think with that game, you're just meant to buy it, play it, and trade it in as fast as you can. Yeah. Because it's not going to be worth anything soon. Like, get rid of that shit.
But there's moments in that I think will be in our E3 conversation. It's like, okay, the Jack boss fight, one of the best boss fights.
The Game of the Year stuff.
Yeah.
Unquestionably, like, that will, and like, that is great, but fucking £70, dude, like a brand new game.
Right. Can we talk about the second house with Mom and her bugs?
Margaret.
Yeah. Because that's kind of just the same, but just with bugs, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it is, Jack's level again.
And that's where some of the game mechanics started to come apart for me a little bit. Because for me, Margaret was not doing so good. She was getting stuck on scenery and standing still. And
okay.
Yeah.
And like she has like a more traditional boss fight in that you're just in the greenhouse shooting at her and you just have to like waste your ammo into her.
Oh, when she's the giant spider.
Yeah.
Now I actually really liked that bit.
Yeah.
I thought, because there was a bit where I didn't know where she was and I couldn't find her and I didn't know that she could like crawl up the walls, and I just turned the torch and there she was, like crunched up in a corner like an actual spider, and she looked so horrifying, and that was a really good bit.
Before that fight, you get the crow's key. So I went back into the house and I got the rocket launcher, the grenade launcher for that battle.
Yeah. Oh, me too, yeah.
And it decimated her, 2 shots. And I was like, okay, battle over. Like,
really?
Yeah, my fight with her was pretty short.
Mine was really, really long.
I unloaded all the grenade launcher rounds, all my shotgun, all my pistol, everything. And I was like you, Brian, I was nearly done when I was nearly out of ammo.
Yeah, right? I think I used my last shotgun shell in there. Then you got Lucas the son, who, before you get to him, you learn that he has a degree in robotics.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
And that's why there's all these...
That's why there's a grenade launcher.
And that's why there's all these weird, conveyor belts of machinery and shit.
So I thought Lucas was great. I thought he was a really good character.
Mm-hmm.
I was so disappointed you don't get to fight him. And he stops being the game.
Because Immortal Joe comes back. Is that what his name is?
It's Jack.
Immortal Jack?
Yeah.
Is it immortal?
I don't think he's immortal.
I thought I saw a loading screen.
Yeah, in the loading screen it says Jack is immortal.
Oh, I think I just called him Immortal Joe. Is there a Wire character called Immortan Joe?
Immortan Joe is the character from Mad Max Fury Road.
Yeah,
he's the bad guy.
Yeah,
you see how I got confused there.
Sure.
I'm a simple man, Brian. Come on.
Yeah. So Lucas is, and you go into his childhood bedroom and there's a whole pile of awards for winning robotic stuff as well.
Yeah.
That's a nice touch.
Yeah, it was there's really good set dressing. Jack's man cave with his baseball helmets, and it's just guess he collects these things. And you first see a photograph of Lucas and you turn it over and you're just this guy looks like an asshole. I loved all the flavor dialogue stuff.
I really like the family dinner and Lucas is throwing all the food at you and then he throws a whole plate of food at you.
Yeah.
I just wish you got to have a confrontation with him, because all that happens is you get to him and it's just a spinning chair and you never see him again.
Yeah, he runs away into the night.
Or I think he leaves a message going this ain't the last you see of me, I got plenty more tricks. And there's nothing.
There is a point where it's if you want to get out of here, you gotta go through me. And I was like, let's fucking go. And he's gone forever.
Yeah, well, he's probably going to be in paid DLC, which is...
I would have liked maybe a little more of the mom as well. I think they could have done something really fun. Although, did you hear about the DLC with the mom?
The first band footage volume 1.
Where you're tied to the bed?
No.
So this sounds really fun, and I kind of wish it was in the main game.
Yeah, it costs a tenner to buy.
This would have made a great sequence. You are tied down to a bed, and it's like a puzzle, like how to get out of the bed, but she is patrolling the house, and every now and then she stops by the bedroom and she'll check that everything's like as it was. But to get out of the bedroom, you have to solve all these different puzzles around the bedroom. But the trick is, when she comes back, if you're out of your bed, you have to put everything back the way it was and climb back into bed.
Oh, that's cool. It's kind of like Misery.
Yeah, and I think I would like a sequence like that within the game would have done so much for her character. Like, imagine just a fucking angry mom screaming at you.
It's kind of disappointing because it is, as you said, €70 for 11-hour game max, and then DLC comes out a week after it's released.
Yeah.
You know.
And you know, like, it's not even the length of the game that bothers me. If I'd played full price for Azura's Wrath, I would have been like, yep, totally fine, because there is enough mental shit in that game that I'm happy with that.
Yeah, there's just not enough variety in content.
Yeah,
I think there's just stuff I haven't, like the Happy Birthday tape. So Lucas has a videotape where you play the tapes through the game, and one of them is the Happy Birthday one where you play Clancy, who's the videographer
for the Haunted House documentary.
Yeah.
That was earlier that year.
So he gets put in a kind of Saw-style puzzle room where he has to figure out how to get a candle on a cake, and when he walks through the door, a sprinkler system goes on.
Yeah.
And the entire puzzle ends with him setting himself on fire in a trapped room.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was pretty dark. But because you go through the Happy Birthday tape through the VHS, when Ethan, the main character, goes in it, you have the answer to the puzzle and you can figure it out. I thought that was really clever.
Just shortcut
that
right
was
to
great.
it.
Yeah. That whole sequence.
And then Lucas is like, you did it wrong. You're meant to die during this part. And he drops a bomb down.
Yeah.
Which you have to immediately...
that character is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I really like his voice. I miss him.
Yeah.
Because they didn't finish, they didn't follow through with him.
Then after that section, there is a big boss fight with Jack again.
Yeah, and here's the point where I started being like, wait, where did Lucas go?
Yeah, because that should have been...
Yeah. And the boss fight was fine, like it was a Resident Evil boss fight in first person. Mm-hmm. You know, that's what it was.
Yeah.
He's a big thing with loads of eyes and you just have to shoot out all the
glowing
eyes.
Orange weak points.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very, very familiar, I have mutated into my perfect form.
And then you come to like, and I really want to know what you guys think about this part.
Oh, the choice.
The choice.
Okay, so also this is the first time you see, so there's Mia and Zoe.
Yeah, Zoe all this time has been on the phone to you.
And she's been guiding you and she's like, let's meet in the trailer. I'm not like my family. And this is the first time you see this character. And actually, so this is a new 3D model that you actually get to see in the game. Up until the final bit, yes. And she's just chained up to a radiator beside Mia. And you untie both of them and you make a serum from a baby head.
And a baby arm.
Where'd the babies come from?
I think they're like I kind of saw it as an Evangelion thing where they were the original hosts of the T-virus or something that was being held in these boxes.
Yeah, these like top secret.
The first time you're in Marguerite's house and you open the box and there's one of them there, it's just like, oh, what the fuck?
Yeah. And you make 2 serums and right away you're getting on the boat and there's 3 of you and you have to make a choice.
Well, how do you get rid of, like, you could have used the 2 serums for the 2 girls, but during the Jack fight, the final one, there's a piece of the battle that has to play out, and one of them shouts, use the serum. So you know, and there's nothing else you can do. You can't shoot him. You have to press X and use the serum. And then afterwards, they're like, oh, what do you mean you only have 1 now?
Yeah, that was so fucking stupid.
Like, I had no other option.
I'm pretty sure it was Zoe telling me to use the serum. And then right away, Zoe's like, how come you only have 1 of them? And it's like, but... Stupid game.
Do you know the crazy part? If they had just made Mia the default and you use it on her, Zoe would be this character who's got fucking beef with you. And they could just leave it and bring her back in another game.
That would be interesting.
Why didn't they? So why was it a choice?
It doesn't make a difference.
Because to me, it was just like, hey, buddy, do you like short hair or blonde hair or long hair?
Yeah. So for me, I know narratively you're meant to pick Mia because you're finally reunited with her and you're safe together. But I was like, what happens if you pick Zoe, the girl you don't know anything about?
Did you pick Zoe?
Yeah.
I knew it.
You're so weird. Why would you do that to your own narrative?
This
is why I don't trust you.
I wanted to see what would happen because I know everyone picks your girlfriend wife.
What happens, Brian?
Nothing. So,
cool.
Mia goes, I can't believe he didn't pick me. And Ethan's reasoning is Zoe is smart, and if they work together, they can rescue Mia better. And then right away,
I'd be so pissed.
And then you pull up to the tanker, and Zoe dies right away.
What happens to her?
She gets molded and crumbles apart.
That is so annoying.
And then you play as Ethan in the tanker, and you get attacked. And then you play, and then you get attacked right away. And then you play as Mia. And at this point, Mia should hate Ethan.
Yeah.
And narrative, this makes no sense. But Mia's like, I have to save Ethan, even though he just fucked me over.
Why put that choice in there if it narratively doesn't change anything, doesn't make sense, makes the story worse? Like, why? Is it just to have a decision?
I don't know. Like, if I was... My guess is that they made the assets and then something got taken out, but they didn't want to remove the, like, animations they'd done or something.
I didn't mind not curing Mia because of what you have to do with her later anyway.
But that boss battle doesn't happen. If you pick Zoe, you have a boss battle with Mia where you club her over the head with a...
I still have to do that.
With, like...
You still have to do that?
Yeah.
No, you had to do it. We didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
Wait, I didn't see that.
We don't have that boss battle.
Oh, yeah. So, skip towards the end of the tanker. I had to fight Mia with a crowbar, and I had to kill her with a crowbar. And she's like, do it, kill me.
Oh.
For the end with us, it's like where the little girl is there and you get eaten out of the mold. And then Mia starts to change into the molded, like it starts to take over her, kind of, the way she was lapsing in and out of it when she cut off your hand. And she pushes you out the door and she's like, run, like, you save yourself.
Yeah.
And then at the very last shot when you're in the helicopter, Mia's with you in the helicopter and both of you are saved.
Okay. I didn't get that at all.
Is the boss fight with Mia good?
You just hit her with the crowbar.
You just have to defend yourself.
So it's not really...
No, shit. Oh, and in my one, he's looking at a video of Mia on his iPhone, and he just throws his phone at the helicopter.
What the hell?
It's so
Yeah,
fucking...
I saw that cutscene. It's really stupid.
That makes no sense.
It's so... I just wanted to know, because I could just watch the other one on YouTube anyway.
Yeah.
But I really wanted to experience, like, the controversial choice, just to know.
The path less traveled.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I don't know about you guys, I really didn't like the ship section. I thought it was bad.
I loved it.
Okay, just, Niamh, I'm at the point now where I'm too tired to even argue. Just, what did you like about it?
I had a lot of weaponry. And I had a lot of molded to shoot. And then there was bombs.
The bombs are pretty good.
And the ship was fun, and you found out kind of all of the lore on the ship. You found out, like, Mia's actually this, like, government agent who was there posing as a mom for this government experiment with this other guy.
She's a highly trained soldier.
You go into a flashback where Mia's a highly trained soldier.
I guess,
and up to this, you have, like, Ethan kind of like, oh, I'm struggling with my knife, and she gets a really big knife.
But, like, I kind of knew all that. It's Resident Evil, It's like, yeah. Science and government shit. That's how these things go.
But you need to put it in there.
Do you, though?
You do. The T-virus.
No, you don't. You don't.
Because otherwise it was just like a family who were kind of gone crazy.
That would have been awesome. I would have spent another 4 hours in that house.
John, it's called Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. They have to have, like, some sort of chemical...
But why?
Because that's the core of Resident Evil.
I think this can play out. This is like
I don't think it is.
I don't think it's a prequel to.
But it's viruses fucking up people and turning them evil.
No, Resident Evil is about being trapped in an environment with dangerous things.
Years ago, but the last 4, 5, and 6 weren't.
And the movies, they're all about virus.
4 totally is.
Okay, 4 is, but that
5 totally is.
5
so you're talking about 6.
No, 5 is a virus adventure.
One. No, I don't agree.
In 5, you're not trapped in environments.
See that.
You keep going to new areas all the time.
Well, I mean, it's the same with 4, but you still have to know those environments. You're all 5 is a big group of arenas.
Yeah. But they push the T-virus.
So to you guys, is the sci-fi virus stuff, that's what Resident Evil is?
Yeah, they move, there's no zombies in Resident Evil 7.
Yeah, but I didn't say anything about zombies.
But it's just like the creation. Like, why else? How you're not going to just show me molded and be no narrative explanation for that. I'm not going to disbelieve. I can throw away that level of thinking for, okay, evil hick family, whatever. Okay, fine. But then you go downstairs and there's molded that have like crazy arms and shit.
I would have fucking loved if there was no explanation for that and that was the only place they appeared in the game. I would have been like, man, what are they doing down there?
Like, I knew right away that, okay, they're in the bayous, like, they are clearly getting runoff of some sort of chemical, and that's what's going on.
Yeah, no, totally. But I didn't need, like, an entire sequence to tell me that.
I like that section, because then it's like, with the little girl as well, you realise that the mold is actually her vomiting. That was gross. Like, that was cool gross. She's just like throwing up mold and getting people infected, and then they wouldn't like play with her or be her mom and dad, and she's just like, well, I'm going to take over your mind with my mold spores and
Brian,
you're going to do what I want.
It's fine. It was cheesy Resident Evil. Nothing new. It definitely felt like familiar territory at the end. Mm-hmm. Like,
I just feel like it should be more.
But you know how...
Like,
what from Resident Evil's history ever gave you the idea that it should be better story-wise?
Or clever.
Yeah.
Okay, no, that's not fair because, like, I'm not talking about, like, clever story writing or anything. I'm talking about, like, actual, like, an experience that's effective and stays with you. Resident Evil 1, Resident Evil Remake, Resident Evil 2, even arguably 3, 4... they stay with you. They're good games. They're great games. They're not hampered by the fact that they're cheesy sci-fi because they work within that tone well.
But I don't think 7
Resident
is
Evil
either.
7 doesn't.
No, I think it hits the right notes. It has those moments that make you go, 7 was the one with Jack and that was crazy. 7 was the happy birthday tape. 7 is with the little girl who's actually not a little girl, you know? It's
but I think like the Jack bit, yeah, totally. Even like the pre-bit with Mia chasing you around the kind of side house, awesome as well. Just those other bits, they just felt such a drop in quality. And like, with Remake, with 2, with 4, I don't see any part of them that's a drop in quality. There's bits like 12 hours into 4 that have their own animation, their own like modeling, their own crazy things. These like 12-second set pieces. So much love and effort went into 4. And it's campy as fuck. It's way more campy than 7.
Yeah.
But I still love it. You know, you can suplex monks in 4. There's a little fucking, like dwarf character that you run around and fight. Like, all that stuff's great.
But what you're saying is you want more of it. Not that it shouldn't be there then. Because I would love more of it. I would love to suplex the molded. I would love way more weird.
I really wish there was
stuff.
new enemies.
I would love,
yeah.
I would love them to put the resources into this shit that they should and that they're not anymore.
I think I agree completely with that. That, like, I think the ship section could have been better. I think there was a drop in difficulty. I don't know if you guys felt that. I was like kitted out at the end, like machine guns.
I was pretty.
I barely had to use any ammo at the end.
Yeah,
but that's my kind of point. With the ship, it just felt like phoned into me, you know? And like the biggest part of it was like, look, if you want to say that the lore is fine, they just didn't represent it very well through the game. Yeah, okay. But that's kind of my issue. You know, it's like, it just felt like such a drop in quality from the start of the game. And I don't get that with the best Resident Evils. And that's what I think a good Resident Evil should be. It should be a good experience start to finish because these games cost €70.
But I don't think this is a good game. I think it's a Resident Evil game. In that it is good for what it is. You know, I'm not going to, this is not for everyone.
But when did Resident Evil start being that?
4. 3. 2 possibly.
But I think 4 is incredible.
I think they're niche games.
4 is my favorite. No, 4 is pretty popular. I think 5. I think 5 is when people were just like, hang on, like 6 isn't good.
I still think 5's a better game than 7.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah. Anyway,
I didn't mind the ship so much because there's been a bunch of ships before in previous Resident Evil games. It's not like it's a familiar location in those games.
Yeah.
I just wish there was better.
I don't get
I wish
how
there was
if it comes
enemies
before it justifies it. Like, I still don't get that.
But that, like,
because we're at number 7 in a continuing like story.
In a haunted house game.
Yeah, this isn't like new lore. This isn't like this isn't a reboot. This is part of what this is. You know.
I just wish it had new enemies in that area. I think they could have done like a whole idea.
Yeah, totally. Like, I'm not against the ship. I just felt
I think it would have been cool if they'd used the elevator system and there was an undefeatable creature that goes up and down all the floors.
Like,
just something.
That, like, you know,
something
now,
chasing.
like, that to me, now we're fucking talking. Like, if you're gonna, like, you know, mine what's been a Resident Evil, give us, you know, another nemesis. Give us something crazy like that.
And he'll just show up.
Those sequences would have been awesome. And
I agree
that's
with
my
that.
problem with it, you know?
I would like that too.
And, like, in terms of, like, the zany tone, I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, well, they didn't stick it because the same resources didn't go into creating that same zany tone as did creating like the legitimately scary tone from the start of it.
Do you think how fast this was announced and it came out has to do with that? Like, I think they got this out the door pretty quickly, which is really unusual for a AAA game.
Yeah.
Because, like, I think that you're right. Like, the second half is lighter and less developed completely.
Yeah.
Because then the final area is the salt mines, and that is just...
That's the worst.
It's the most boring fucking place.
But, like, that's what I was saying, where, like, they made an environment and then they just, you know, dropped a bunch of enemies in different locations. And that's what I really hated. And I don't think it was bad. I don't think the ship was that bad, but there were elements of there too. So yeah.
At least the ship had some flashback stuff.
The ship still had some interesting stuff. I guess the Sayako stuff really bothered me because I was like, oh, come on, dudes. Like, we've seen this.
What I would really like if on the ship you found a console and there was like an email video attachment from Ada Wong or like Leon Kennedy. Like, if there was some like extra little callback like that.
I was really holding out hope right till the end that you'd go into like an office and the chair would spin around and fucking Albert Wesker would be there. And like that would have been so dumb and so stupid, but it would at least let me go like, you got me. I thought I punched you into a volcano.
Yeah, so it's like play up a bit more to your Resident Evil-ness.
Yeah.
Like, be more Resident Evil.
I guess like if you're going to go that campy, you should go all the way, and I don't feel like they did. Mm-hmm. And then I felt like, I guess the final bit that really had me rolling my eyes is like the monologue. What's the main character's name?
Ethan
gives in the helicopter at the end, where he's like, they say that one door never opens without another closing, and a door closed today. And it's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Ethan's such a non-character. Like, he really is.
So the final boss of the game, it turns out all along that Grandma in the wheelchair was Evelyn, the little girl. Which I was like, that's okay, cool. Because the whole time you see Grandma and you're like, but like, I tried shooting her and you can't.
Did you shoot her?
You can't shoot her.
I couldn't do it though. I didn't even try because I was like, I can't shoot her. She's
you're weak,
in a chair.
Is what you're trying to say.
I really, really like,
I tried to go at her with the knife, everything.
Oh my god.
In this game, I just thought, okay, I'll try I'll try and do the things I'm not supposed to do.
Yeah, I like testing the limits of games too, but I was actually holding the gun at her, and I was like, will I? And my girlfriend's like, no. And I was like, yeah, I can't. Like,
I was like, really? This fucking spooky family wants to mess with me, I'm gonna take away something they love.
Yeah.
Nanny.
And so Grandma, she's like, I'm all grey and withered, but I'm actually a little girl. And then she dissolves into a big giant face and she goes full Tetsuo.
Yeah. Okay, so like the twist that it was the grandma the whole time, I was like, I was like, yeah, okay, neat. Like, sure.
That's the twist of the final chapter movie.
What?
This is what I'm saying. They're all connected.
Fuck.
There's like a person who's on the board of Umbrella Corp is actually the little girl Red Queen, but she had the accelerated like aging process as well.
I'm going to watch all those movies.
They all tie in. I was just like,
it's
okay,
so
this is
clever.
It's so amazing. A tapestry.
It's like poetry, it rhymes.
It wasn't a bad twist, but I was also a bit like, why? Like, why?
Because why not?
Because why not?
So when you're fighting the giant head, like a gun drops from a plane.
Oh yeah! And it's like the perfect gun.
Yeah.
You just need 4 fucking shots off that thing.
Did you guys do that the first time?
Yeah.
I died 5 times.
What? Why?
There's a bit where she grabs you and you're meant to shoot her hand or her tentacle. I didn't know that.
I just kept shooting her face.
Yeah, I kept shooting her in the face as well.
Because I kept doing that. I shot her in the face so many times and she'd eat me. I got eaten like 5 times.
For me, it was before she transformed and you're going up to her and she keeps doing her shockwave blast and you have to put your hand up to guard. But you have to like run up, stop guard, run up, stop guard. And I kept fucking that up until eventually I got close up and that autoplay.
I was really hoping that he was going to run up to her and just fucking wham. But he didn't.
He's really, really rude about her. He's like, we're going to kill this fucking bitch.
Yeah, I was like,
that's a little girl.
Yeah, it's like, come on.
Although I guess it's a weird fucked up grandma. Maybe that's okay.
But, and then everyone's favorite character from the Resident Evil universe shows up. motherfucking Kris Redfield.
He's
the most charismatic man on the planet.
Kris has lost a load of weight.
He's lost a lot of body mass.
Also,
so many redesigns.
Yeah, his face is... He looks like the guy from Prison Break.
That's the guy who plays him in the movie.
Yeah, it's just that guy.
All ties in.
So, do you think there's anyone out there who saw Kris and was like, no way, it's our boy? Like, do you think anyone lost their shit when Kris Redfield?
I was really happy when
oh my god,
I was like, it's Kris!
But you don't even like Kris, you like Leon.
Like, if it was Leon, I'd be like, no way, it's Leon.
I was just happy to see one of them, because I don't like Ethan.
I think it'd be cool if it was Jake Wesker and he's like, my dad's kind of a dick. I'm Troy Baker.
I think it would be good if you're like flying in the helicopter at the end and he goes, where are we going, Kris? And then Kris, like, he's flying the helicopter and he turns around and he's got like Wesker's red eyes and he just goes, Raccoon City, motherfucker. and then like an exterior shot of the helicopter with Ethan screaming and cut to credits.
That's any way you want it. Just fucking hard cut.
Oh, guys, I think we gotta end this podcast soon.
It's 2.5 hours long, we're done.
Jesus Christ, okay. Guys, thank you so much for joining us for whatever the fucking hell that was. I had a lot of fun.
Do we like Resident Evil? Like, we talked about it for half an hour.
Does Resident Evil 7 get into the Let's Fight a Boss hall of hard work and success? Niamh, what do you say?
Yeah!
Bryan, what do you say?
I don't think there is hard work. I do think there's success.
That's not what it's about. That's not what...
You know what? Fuck it. Yeah. I'm driving, boy. It's going in.
And I'm going to conclude with an absolute definitive no, it does not. Everyone will see you in 2 weeks. Thank you very much.
Queen's Rule, it's in.
This shit jumping years active. Heard you ask about Laxa, but that bitch passed it. These days are more monologists. Got my foot on the gas with the gas, I'm cautious. Y'all nowadays make me nervous. Gotta try with the law, they gon' drop all the charges. Hoes nowadays on the cautious. Got caught from my dog who supply all my sauces. Can't lose, I got juice, and they know I do. Can't lose, I got juice, and they know I do. Come through with your posse, getting nasty, cause I got the sauce, yeah. Can't lose, I got juice, and they know I do. Y'all nowadays make me anxious. I'ma need more space so the new place spacious. Y'all nowadays imitations. When it comes to the real, no, it ain't no replacing. Too much sauce in the roster. Like the roster's pasta, I whip with my dogs, yeah. I'm only here for it all, yeah. All y'all wanna all drop the ball in the process. Can't lose, I got juice, and they know I do, yeah. Can't lose, I got juice, and they know I do. Come through with your posse, getting nasty, cause I got the sauce, yeah. Can't lose, I got juice, and they know I do. Hold up, I do this, I'm the best and you know this. I pulled up in that newness, I get and go what you doing. The champagne campaign, worry about a damn thing. Got the diamonds dancing, got the girls dancing. I make them do it. She shake it, make it jiggle, make it pop. You drive it long, throwing money non-stop. Work, 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 that's a lot. You deserve something new off the lot. Can't lose, I got juice, and they know I do, yeah. Can't lose, I got juice, and they know I do. Come through with your posse, getting nasty, cause I got the sauce, yeah. Can't lose, I got juice, and they know I do. Can't lose, I got juice, and they know I do, yeah. Can't lose, I got juice, and they know I do. Come through with your posse, getting nasty, cause I got the sauce, yeah. Can't lose, I got juice, and they know I do.